Hello, everybody, and welcome back to OWN Masters of Valencia. I am your host, Petticast, joined by the amazing Duncan Brawl Stars. Make sure you guys follow him on on Twitch and on YouTube. He does daily live streams, does daily content. I am screwing up already, chat. I am so sorry. But how are you doing on this fine day, Duncan?
I am doing fantastic, Panda. Thanks for asking, and thanks for having me back. I'm super fired up to get into our day 2 matches here. We've got a bunch of banger games coming up. After an electric game number 1, I'm hoping that we can get a little bit more close sets right here, but I think that we've got a great slate of matches laid out for us, so fired up to get into the games, Panda.
Yeah, we're going to have 4 matches today, as we did in the previous day. And just going over what we saw in the last day, we had Inner Circle, Eclipsar. Inner Circle actually beat Eclipsar in 3-1, which was quite unprecedented. And I would say one of the upsets that we saw yesterday. We had Humble and Ping Abusers, which was a 3-0 clean sweep. But actually, no, it wasn't clean sweep. I believe there was one set where Ping Abusers did get a win. So that was very good considering the fact that they didn't have one of their players actually participating yesterday. Then we had Reply Totem versus Reverso Gaming, which was a sweep for Reply Totem. They got a 3-0 against them. And then we had Team Heretics versus SK Gaming, which was actually really close. It was a 3-0 sweep for SK Gaming, but I feel like the scoreline doesn't really demarcate how close it actually was, Duncan. It was really close.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Definitely was expecting Heretics to get away with one of those sets. Maybe that first gem grab set with the Bullcat strategy, but didn't end up working out for them. So I'm excited to see, especially what Team Heretics has to offer today, since they will be facing Eclipsar in our match number 2. But overall, I'm hoping to see some of these teams that did take a little bit of an unfortunate 0-3 sweep in the first day of our matches, maybe bounce back with a little bit of vengeance in day number 2, try to get themselves a W on that leaderboard and even up the competition in our pool here a little bit.
Indeed. I mean, we have 7 match days in the phase 2 right now, which is the league phase. And in this phase, 8 teams go up against all the other teams once. So it's basically 28 matches over the course of 7 match days. So right now it's match day number 2. We have 4 more matches coming your way. It's going to be Ping Abusers versus Inner Circle, which is going to be the first one on the docket, followed by Eclipsar Esports versus Team Heretics. Then we have Reverso Gaming versus Humble and SK Gaming versus Reply Totem. Just talking about the format a little bit. Like I mentioned, we have 8 league teams. Before that, we had 4 qualifiers to get 8 of these teams, 2 from each of the qualifiers. The top 4 teams in this league phase qualify for the LAN event, which is going to happen in Valencia, and there's going to be an on-site final over there. And the prize pool, $10,000 up for grab, Duncan. And I don't know about you, but I feel like I probably need to participate more in esports because that's a lot of green.
That is a lot of green. I'm definitely looking forward to the players who are going to get some of their hands on that. I mean, personally, I don't think I would be able to compete at that level, but maybe some of these guys are lucky we're not in the tournament, Panda. I'm just playing, but there's a lot of money up for grabs there. Definitely hoping that the biggest prize goes to the team most deserving of it, and I'm looking forward to see which team is going to kind of emerge as that front runner. I guess the teams that go 2-0 after today's games are definitely going to be looking in a good position to get that top 4 spot, whereas some of our teams that might drop to 0-2 are going to be fighting a very uphill battle to get back into that playoff situation. So excited to see who's going to step up to the occasion, Panda.
Yeah, I mean, you have 8 of the best teams in EMEA really duking it out here, and I think that it's going to be very close. All the matches are going to be really close here because all the teams are fighting tooth and nail to be in the top 4 on this leaderboard here. So it's going to be very, very tumultuous, very close, and I would say very gritty. You're going to have a lot of teams in the trenches.
100%, and I'm definitely looking forward to see, especially in our first game with Ping Abusers versus Inner Circle, if the Ping Abusers are going to be able to kind of get back into the win column here and kind of make a name for themselves in this EMEA region. Is probably one of the lesser known teams in this region. They're definitely got an uphill battle to fight, especially going against a fantastic team like Inner Circle, who did take care of business yesterday. But besides that, one of the games that I'm most looking forward to, Panda, is our match number 4 today, SK versus Reply Totem. Definitely 2 powerhouses in the EMEA region, and I'm definitely looking forward to see what those teams have to offer after a full day of match games.
Yeah, we have a lot of good grand finals caliber matches for you guys, and just talking about what we have in the first game, like I mentioned, Ping Abusers, they have Yannick, Melbrot, and Covers. Inner Circle have Mebius, Nob, and Rama. Ping Abusers had a very difficult day 1, with Copy actually being the replacement for an emergency sub for Melbrot, who wasn't there. So hopefully they have the team organized now and they can actually abuse their ping as they're going to be going up against Inner Circle. But Inner Circle, though, they took down Eclipsar yesterday, 3-1. So that's a little bit scary for ping abusers if you are going to be facing them. Well, Inner Circle have taken heavy losses in the recent past, including not making monthly finals. They received a thrashing by both Gas and Reverso Gaming in the monthly qualifiers. So, that being said, they did have a dominant play yesterday, and I don't expect any signs of them really letting up. So, ping abusers have to bring their A game in this matchup here.
100%. Definitely seems like Inner Circle is kind of turning a corner as a professional team in this part of the season right now. So I'm definitely looking forward to see if they're going to keep building on that momentum and kind of proving that they should have been in the monthly qualifiers, perhaps. I think that they definitely have what it takes to be one of those upper echelon teams. And if they can take a quick business of ping abusers, then maybe we'll be talking about them in a different conversation.
Yeah, for sure. And especially the player Yannick. He's been in a lot of different teams, but has managed to get to these third-party tournaments in the league phase at least many times, actually. So it's not a fluke. He's definitely a really good player, has the caliber to bring up teams which you normally wouldn't expect to get to places where they shouldn't be rather. So I would say that, you know, Yannick is somebody that you have to look out for in the future. But we're going to go into our drafts really soon. The maps are going to be Triple Dribble, Shooting Star, Bell's Rock, Dueling Beetles, and Gem Fort.
Yep, and we're going straight into our first draft of the day with Triple Dribble up first. It looks like we are going to have Mortis be our first ban of the day, which is kind of crazy to see, along with Melody, Lou, Lumi, Stu, and Poco. So a lot of bans that make sense. The Mortis one is a little bit crazy to see, but maybe they have a master plan in play here because they are going to be selecting B with that first pick. Inner Circle is going to answer with a Carl and a Meeple. So two very, very meta brawlers coming off the board for Inner Circle. Some of that more mid-ranged options, though, it looks like they are not too worried about the B outranging them on this closed-off Triple Dribble map. Excited to see what ping abusers are going to add to kind of see if they can get the lane advantage over that Carl.
Yeah, that Meeple is going to be a little scary to face off because once you get that super and you've completely cordoned people off within the box with the mansions of people, it's going to be scary to go up against. And I feel like B is going to get a hammering because of that. Cross lane support with the Carl is also going to be imperative to the success of the Inner Circle squad. I feel like B is going to be great, especially on this open lane on this left-hand side that you can see on the screen. So that's going to be one of the reasons why B is picked up so often and has a huge win rate. But one of the biggest answers to B is obviously the Barley. So the fact that they haven't picked up the Barley and they've gone for Meeple and Carl is a little scary for them, I guess, in a way. But I feel like they've addressed a lot of the issues that they do have against B. But on the other side, ping abusers go for both the Larry and Laurie and the Frank. So wall breaks are going to be coming down. And for the early game, they have the Larry and Laurie.
Yeah, 100%. I definitely am not surprised to see ping abusers picking up a wall break, considering they do have that B. And obviously she's going to be massively benefited from Frank breaking down those walls. A little bit curious why they would add a thrower into that mix as well. Maybe they assumed that Inner Circle would take a thrower of their own and they kind of wanted to get ahead of the jump on that. But we are going to be seeing a thrower on both sides. There's not really any super high damage coming out from Inner Circle though. So I'm curious if it might be a little bit too much. The Frank might be a little bit too much for them to deal with here. We'll have to see if ping abusers is able to capitalize on their HP advantage here in this game.
Yeah, the thick boy Frank, it's going to be a little scary to face because once he gets the hypercharge, he has like a wealth of HP in his HP pool and in the arsenal. So he's going to be walking. Wow, the clean feed volume is very loud. I have turned it down, so I apologize to everybody.
All good there, and it looks like we're going to see the Frank kind of taking his time with his gadget already popped. We are going to be seeing some thrower action in the mid as Covers is kind of playing his range up against the Mebius on the Carl there. Yannick is going to get our first blood of the game. They're taking out Knobs Meeple, and now we're going to see ping abusers try to push up the map a little bit as they try to position themselves for a goal with this Frank super. Stun goes down, doesn't hit anything, but as we see, ping abusers still have fantastic positioning here as the Barley tries to end that.
Sorry about that. It was so loud on my ears too that I could barely pay attention to what was going on.
All good, all good. Well, right now we just see ping abusers does seem to be faltering in their position a little bit. Covers is holding on to his fat shot on the right side of the map right here, and we are going to be seeing the first Laurie of the game come down. Gonna break open a little bit more positioning, and Yannick is going up with that Frank gadget. He's not going to get it off due to the Meeple stun, but it looks like Covers is going to be able to clear up the last remaining defender in the goal and slot in the first goal of the game for the ping abusers, Panda.
that was kind of crazy, the fact that Ping Abusers got that one against them. Now they have to hold on for dear life. They have about a minute 15 left. Big last call coming in from Rama to cordon off the Frank, but the Frank has a super to use here, so that's going to be a bit scary for them. Nob is trying to mark down the Frank, but Frank is just going to hold that line. In the middle, it's a little bit of a stalemate. As we can see, the ball hasn't even moved from that point.
Yep, as we can see, I mean, the Frank hasn't gotten a whole lot of value with like kills and damage, but just his existence with that 14k HP is proving difficult for Inner Circle to deal with. He's just demanding so much fire, allowing copy and covers to kind of move up the map on their own and get the kills that they need. But he is going to be going down there. Yannick's Frank is going to go down. That's going to allow Inner Circle to get a lot more positioning back, especially with this Meeple super coming down and allowing him to shoot through these walls at the thrower.
Yeah, with 25 seconds left, it is now or never for Inner Circle, and they are making their stance known. There's going to be a big last call coming in. Covers gets the ball, passes a Copy. Copy can put the ball up. The Frank has done his job, taking down Nob, taking down Rama as well, and Mebius alone man standing for the team. It is basically over for Inner Circle as Ping Abusers are now back in form.
Yeah, amazing to see Ping Abusers get this first win of the day. This is definitely coming a little bit easier than it did yesterday, but hopefully this is the type of boost that they needed to get back onto the board, maybe get themselves a set win right here. But I just don't really know if Inner Circle has enough to deal with that HP and menacing abilities of the Frank, even if he's not doing all that much work in the kills department. Like I said earlier, his positioning is just so fantastic. He's demanding so much fire, and it's just allowing his teammates to do that much more work. We got to see if Inner Circle is maybe going to either devote more attention to the Frank to try and take him down faster, or maybe just have to ignore him a little bit. But it looks like it is going to be the former right now, Panda.
Indeed, and Frank is just pressuring a lot just with that HP. Right now, we do see Inner Circle trying to push back Ping Abusers, but I feel like both of these teams are really marinating about how they want to go about doing this. But with that kill onto Yannick, that's going to be huge. Now they can make their stance known. Mebius going in, trying to get a little bit of value, pops his hypercharge, but Yannick is back in form here, and big super coming in from Mebius should get the kill on a Yannick. Last call coming down too. B can't really defend. That's going to be a goal for sure. A little bit of a whiff, but Nob has secured it nonetheless for Inner Circle.
Mebius did a ton of work there on the Carl. He had fantastic positioning, was just able to clear out that goal area so well. Almost fumbled the goal a little bit, but not going to be any sweat off their back at the end of the day. And now we're going to have to see Ping Abusers on the back foot for the first time in this set. Covers is stepping up to the occasion, though, getting a kill. He is going to be traded out by the Barley, but it looks like right now we're kind of stuck in a 2v2. I would say that Ping Abusers does have a little bit better positioning. Probably going to need a Frank super, or even better than that, a hypercharge, to kind of be able to break out of the stalemate here as the Meeple walls come down.
Big Meeple super, but Frank has just walked over it. He doesn't really give a damn in that situation. But about a minute left here, and with that early goal from Inner Circle, Ping Abusers have their work cut out for them. Frank tries to go for that super, sorry, that pull, but isn't able to do so. Hypercharge coming online for Rama. Yannick gets taken down. The ball is going to be coming barreling down here, as they have placed it in a very aggressive position for Inner Circle. So this is looking good for them. With 45 seconds, Ping Abusers have a lot of work cut out for them.
They really do, but Yannick does have his Frank hypercharge ready to go, so if he doesn't make a great play here, then they might not be able to score a goal, but they're getting Yannick that ball over here. He's going to be using that speed and trying to go make a play right here, but we have not been able to see him get a single one of those pull gadgets off without the Meeple stun coming through, but he does get a kill there, and now it looks like it's going to be a 2v1. They should be able to tie up this game with 20 seconds left on the board, and it looks like we might be seeing overtime where Ping Abusers does have the B.
Yeah, they have the B. They have a little bit of Larry and Lori go in for them, but I feel like Inner Circle can make something happen, especially since they have two mid to long range options in the form of Carl and Meeple here. They have positioning as well and a hypercharge on that Carl. On the other side, though, the B has the same with her hypercharge. She has slowed down Mebius, going for a mano-a-mano. He recovers, trying to find the value, not able to do so. Now Mebius going in with a super, gets taken out by Yannick nonetheless. Every member of Ping Abusers is very low right now. Rama passes the ball back here, puts the last call down, but right now it's still Ping Abusers just holding on.
Rama is trying to do all he can as far as positioning goes here, but as a thrower in overtime, you're typically not going to have the best time. Luckily for them, they do have two throwers on the map, so both of them are going to be facing the same difficulties here. Yannick is more or less going to be a walking super feeder at this moment in time, but either way, we do see full positioning coming down from Inner Circle right now. The Larry's going to be able to buy them a little bit of space, but this is really going to have to be on covers to try to get a kill if they're going to have an opening to get a goal right here.
Yeah, and right now it looks like it might be a tie unless Inner Circle are able to get Yannick down, but Yannick is just using his HP to ensure this draw coming in. 5 seconds left. Yannick still has the ball. Maybe he's trying to get the kill. Maybe he manages to get the kill, but no, it's a bit too late. They needed a few more seconds, and that's going to be a draw.
Yeah, I cannot believe that it was as close as it was. It looks like Ping Abusers knew exactly how much stalling they had to do there. Yannick on the Frank did a great job buying exactly enough time, as well as Copy on the Lori, just trying to make sure that they don't take the L there. Obviously, with the tie, we are going to be seeing, if Inner Circle is able to win this, then we're going to have to, are we going to see another game, Panda? What's the rules on that?
We're going to see another game. They're going to play this again. It's going to still be a best of 3. The draws don't really count here.
Okay,
go back into game. And we see the ball be moved up by Ping Abusers here. Yannick in a very aggro position. Copy trying to get the goal here. Tries to use the super, but it is to no avail.
Ping Abusers really going all out for that first goal. You got to respect it. After the last game didn't go quite the way they wanted to, they were trying to right the ship and get a quick goal on the board, but it is going to be for nothing. As of right now, we are sitting kind of evenly with the positioning in the middle right now. Rama's going to be trying to clear out some of that space, but we do see a super on the Frank as well as the Meeple. He's going to pop that up right now and use that stun to cancel out the Frank super. Got to feel bad for Yannick. He's been getting absolutely bullied by this Meeple gadget from Nob.
Yeah, the fact that the Frank hasn't been able to break the walls as much as he should, but Frank just using the wealth of his HP just to walk it in unabated, and I feel like we might have some issues where our spectate just crashed.
Unfortunate to see that, but we are going to see Ping Abusers with a 1-0 lead right now. Hopefully we can get that stream back running real quick here. But Inner Circle is going to be on the back foot. Obviously, with that tie not really meaning anything, Ping Abusers is more or less still up 1-0, so they're going to have to just try to hold off until the end of the game, see if they can keep that 1-0 lead, maybe even grab another goal. But Inner Circle's got their work cut out for them in this second match.
Yeah, apologies that we're still trying to get the spectator feed up, and once we do, we'll give you the smooth, buttery gameplay that you're expecting. Once again, apologies for what is happening right now. It seems like Ping Abusers got scored on by Inner Circle, just based off the game sound that I can hear.
Interesting. Okay, so we're going to have a 1-1 game when we come back, hopefully. That's going to be very interesting to see. Potentially might see another overtime on our hands, so we're going to have to see what covers can do on that B. I feel like that is going to be the player to watch once we get into overtime. Mebius is Carl and covers is B.
Mm-hmm. Still no clue about what's happening in game. We can only guess as to what is going on. Apologies once more for this happening, but I guess we're gonna go back into waiting for the next game.
Disappointed we weren't able to catch the end of that, but very curious how that ended up surfacing there. I feel like
wow, yeah,
definitely would have been a pretty electric game.
Love you, yeah. We're just getting the feedback on. We apologize for the delay, and we can't switch to player POV right now because we don't have the player perspective. But once we do get it up and running, we'll get it back for you. Apologies once more. I'm not sure about the result. I'm not sure if Ping Abusers won that game or lost that game. Based on what we heard, it seems like they did happen to lose that game, so it might just be Inner Circle taking the first set. We'll get more confirmation from the admin team.
Yep, definitely going to be pretty interesting to see who won that one. Obviously, getting off to a 1-0 lead in a best of 5 is going to be pretty important, especially if it is Inner Circle that was able to take that first one. Going to be very disappointing for Ping Abusers, as it looked like they were putting together their first real set where they had a chance to take it home.
Yeah, I mean, it's very important to get the first set, like you mentioned, because it sets the tone for the rest of the match. Sorry, for the rest of the sets that we have and the rest of the games. And the tonality is so important because it gets into the head of the opponents if you happen to win the first set. So the point is, though, you have to be concerted with ensuring that you have your confidence and you have your wherewithal to not really be affected by what's happening. We're going to go back in a game here.
Oh, perfect. So it looks like we are seeing Inner Circle taking the game that we got timed out of, and we're going to be 1-1 right now. So it looks like next winner is going to take the first set right here. As of right now, though, we see Rama trying to hold it down kind of on his own, as Inner Circle does have solid ball positioning right now. Ping abusers are going to be doing everything they can to push him back for that, as Yannick is going to be moving up with his Frank Hypercharge, ideally looking to make a pretty big play here. He finally gets his gadget off for one of the first times, not getting bullied by Nob's gadget anymore, and he's going to have this ball up here with the super, and I have a hard time seeing how they don't score this.
Ooh, nice stun coming in from Nob, but he's going to be taken out. It's not going to really matter because of Frank just being so big and spongy. You're going to go into the next bit here. 30 seconds left, but the Ping Abuser is actually getting a goal on Inner Circle, and now or never for Inner Circle really to equalize this game here, because it's going to be a loss for them if they don't.
Yeah, it looks like they were trying to force the super shot there with about 20 seconds left on the clock. It is all going to be for nothing, though. With 10 seconds left, it looks like Ping Abusers are going to take set number 1. Don't really see a way that Inner Circle is going to be able to get out of this situation, and it looks like they agree with me on that point right there. They're going to be putting the fries in the bag right here, and we are going to see Ping Abusers take their first set of the OWN tournament. So awesome to see them getting on the board here, and it looks like Inner Circle is going to be on the back foot for the first time since we've been starting this.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how this one's going, because like Inner Circle, they took down Eclipse 30-1, but losing their very first set against Ping Abusers is kind of crazy. And I have to mention, we don't have Melbro today either, so it's Copy playing in. I'm not sure if he's going to be the new player for Ping Abusers for the rest of the tournament or not. We'll get more information on that as it develops, but I have to say it's been working out. They're playing really well together, and I feel like they were able to address all the issues that they were having against Inner Circle in the games that they did happen to lose. I have to mention that Inner Circle did shut down the Frank repeatedly, and I felt like the slack was really picked up by both Cappy and Covers to really, cover for the Frank deficiencies.
100%. We only saw the stats for a little bit, but it looks like Cappy was 7-0 on the Larry and Lori, so kind of crazy stats coming out there. Obviously, as a thrower, you are going to be taking less deaths than your teammates more often than not, but 7 kills to 0 deaths is impressive nonetheless, no matter how you look at it. So very well played to Cappy, and I just got to give it up to Ping Abusers. Even playing without their normal team, they are still putting up a fight. They are not going down without a fight. Even yesterday's games, they were able to compete to the best of their ability. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing if this team maybe is turning a corner now.
Yeah, and we're gonna switch gears. We're gonna go into your favorite map, Duncan. I believe it's gonna be time for Shooting Star, and hopefully we get your cherished Mandy pick that you're looking for.
Very much looking forward to it. I have to assume that she'll probably be banned, unfortunately, but you never know how it might go. Maybe a team is going to be trying to plan their ban so that they can get the Mandy, but always love to see some Mandy gameplay, a pure sniper to its highest degree. And obviously that Mandy hypercharge is going to be so impactful at the end of games. It can completely change the pace of a game. So I hope to see some good sniper action, and we'll probably see a little bit of thrower action as well. But overall, I just love maps where it's just really testing the players' mechanics with their aim and their juking.
For sure. And for people who are unaware about how to look up more information about this tournament, I'm going to be posting a link in the chat. It should be on both Twitch and YouTube right now. And you can go to this specific link and read up all about esports for OWN, but not just that, for Brawl Stars esports or any other esports that you're looking for. It has a wealth of information. It gives you all the information about tournaments, past, present, or in the future as well. So definitely look out for that if you are interested in that sort of data.
Looks like we're getting into our second draft of the day, rather. On Shooting Star, we are going to have Jean, Angelo, Lumi, Nani, Gray, and Piper banned. And with the first pick, Inner Circle does take the Mandy, so my wish has been granted. Very excited to see who's going to be hopping on the Mandy here, but we're going to have Inner Circle with the first pick Mandy, Ping Abusers taking a Tick and an RT, so a little bit of a ranged anti-tank option, as well as the thrower with a lot of range. So definitely playing their range pretty safely here. And Ping Abusers does seem to be aware of a little bit of aggressive picks coming in from Inner Circle. With the RT and the Tick obviously has some anti-tank capabilities as well. And it looks like maybe that was assuming that the Carl would go off, because that's exactly what Inner Circle is going to do. They finish up their comp with a Carl and a Bell, so they've got decent range. They have the ability to dive with that Carl. But overall, it seems like they're just trying to play their range, let the Mandy and the Bell cook. And then obviously if they are able to get a lead up, then those Bell traps are going to be so oppressive. Ping Abusers is going to finish off their draft with a Gus as well, though. So we're seeing a lot of range come down as expected on Shooting Star. But I'm very curious. It looks like Ping Abusers is going with a little bit of a beefier comp. So maybe they're just going to be trying to outlast and maybe even make a play for that blue star at the beginning, so the Bell traps aren't as much of a factor.
True, and I feel like also if you just look at the composition that Ping Abusers are bringing, the RT synergizes pretty well with that take because RT can snipe you down, mark you up, and then the take's just going to do more incidental damage. We're going to go into the second set. Ping Abusers took set number 1, which was quite the surprise, and maybe this could shape up into being a big upset for Inner Circle.
Potentially. It looks like we are going to see the blue star go the way of Inner Circle. We didn't get to see the very beginning of the game, but I assume that the Carl was on that flying hook gadget. So he's able to get that blue star for free, but obviously not going to have the fire gadget that has been so defining of Carl in this recent meta right here. So maybe a little bit of utility sacrificed in order to get that blue star, but getting the lead with those bell traps is super important. So completely understandable decision from Inner Circle as we see Ping Abusers trying to push them back into their spawn, which is working decently well so far. Mebius is going to be trying to make a play to get them out of it, but not really going to be able to get away with much there, Panda.
Yeah, maybe it's very low here on this right-hand side. Surprisingly, Copy doesn't go for it, but they managed to get Knob isolated, get him out as well, and now the lead is for the side of Ping Abusers, so Inner Circle have to really move up here. But I like the fact that Knob already has a super, so if anybody's caught lacking, Knob is there to pick you up.
Yep, 100%. I think we just saw that kill come down due to covers Kooky Poppers. It's always been such a broken gadget for Gus. In game modes like Knockout and Bounty where it can pretty much guarantee you a kill if you're able to hit it, but we're going to see Mebius pushing up here on the right side of the map, trying to catch Copy in the corner right here. He's going to have to throw down his tick head for a little bit of assistance there. We also see Rama being very weak on the bell, but Mandy is going to get a kill. Well played to Knob, and we're going to see the lead going back the way of Inner Circle. Now Ping Abusers are going to have to push them back into their spawn through all of these bell mines that we see, but the Mandy super misses. Yannick barely gets away with that, and now the utility is looking like it's on the side of Ping Abusers with only 15 seconds left for them to get a kill here.
That was unfortunate for Knob because Yannick was also slowed down. Nice taps coming from Yannick to get the Mandy low. Mebius is also going to be low, but he gets a kill onto Copy. Now Knob falls. It's going to be a 1-star differential here. Knob narrowly survives, and that's actually going to go to Inner Circle with a second to spare.
Yes, very well played to avoid those RT shots. Mebius knew exactly where he had to stand and that they had that 1-star lead. So they are going to be able to get away with a pretty highly contested game right there. We saw the lead change hands quite a few times there. So I'm expecting the Carl is probably going to get that blue star again. We're going to have to see if Ping Abusers is able to get that lead and then keep that lead. It looks like they are playing pretty well right now, but every single time Inner Circle has lost that lead, they've bounced back and gotten the kills that they needed.
Great start coming in from Inner Circle once more. They need to get that blue star. It is interesting to note that, you know, the meta's shifted back towards flying hook for Carl, at least for bounty, because we did move away from that heat ejector because of the amount of value that it brings. So that is something good to know. On the left-hand side, though, Cover is going up against Rama, and neither team really making any inroads here. Ping Abusers, though, have about a minute in terms of time just to make a comeback.
Yep, not expecting to see too much action right now. Both teams just trying to hold down their positioning as Ping Abusers just try to push back a little bit, maybe pick off that kill. But I'm wondering if they maybe thought they might have took the lead a little bit too early last time and are trying to play it a little safer. But they are going to get another Kooky Popper kill, pretty much the exact same thing we saw in game number 1. Cover's coming away with that 3rd star right there. So we are going to see the lead shift back into Ping Abusers. Going to be on Inner Circle to see if they can get that Mandy super or maybe make a Carl play to be able to take this lead back right here.
Yeah, Rama's trying to wiggle there, not getting his dodges on point, but now managing to get them. Nice flying hook being used by Mebius on a Copy, but he gets taken out a little too long on the side of Ping Abusers, and as a result, the overstaying is welcome, gets taken out, and now the lead is going to be extended for Ping Abusers.
That was fantastic team coordination from Ping Abusers. All 3 of them got a shot in on the Carl right there to be able to take that, or to be able to keep their lead and extend their lead. And we're going to see Mebius use another flying hook to try and get back into the mix here, but you see how much attention is being devoted to him. Our first Mandy super comes in, and it is going to be a whiff, so it looks like we're going to have a 3-star lead, and they need to take out Yannick here and to be able to win this game.
Ooh, nice taps coming from Yannick. He's able to get another one with the help of covers. They're able to completely decimate Inner Circle, and they are able to equalize this one at 1 apiece in the second set. If Ping Abusers get this win, they're going to be up 2-0 against Inner Circle.
That's going to be a tough deficit to come back from, but you got to give it up to Ping Abusers, man. They are playing fantastically as a team. Given the RT that shield at the end, they knew exactly who needed to stay alive, and an RT with a Gus shield is going to be a tall task to take down. So definitely very well played from Ping Abusers. I was super impressed by the way that they all kind of converged on Mebius every single time he dashed in with the Carl trying to make a play onto the tick. So great team coordination, fantastic team plays, but we are going to see our next game starting with another Carl Blue Star play, and it's going to be about the exact same thing that we've seen already with Ping Abusers just trying to take back that lead.
Ooh, Yannick getting slowed down. Mebius tries to capitalize with a flying hook, but gets knocked back by the wall. And as a result, Yannick staying alive, so they weren't able to capitalize on that. And I think it's going to be weighing on them a little bit. But that being said, they still have the blue star here.
Yep, and this is the earliest we've seen Mandy get a super, but it is going to be once again a whiff here. So the Mandy utility is looking like it hasn't been absolutely the best so far. We haven't seen a Mandy hypercharge come down, but if we are going to see one, it probably would be this game, considering that was the fastest we've seen one. But we're going to see Yannick and Copy getting a ton of damage in on Mebius. He's going to be kind of trapped in a corner. Might be difficult for him to survive this, and he is going to go down. We see Ping Abusers taking that 2-1 lead right now, and they will be on the back foot retreating now, as Inner Circle is going to have to try to take this lead back for once again.
Yeah, this is basically the same game 3 times over, except this time each member of Icy falls first, and then it's just Icy coming back and trying to, completely change the dictation of the game. But right now, it's 30 seconds left, and Inner Circle really need to pull up their socks if they want to get the win here.
Yep, I gotta say, Yannick has been tapping like crazy onto Mebius. Almost takes him down there. He's gonna survive on 140 HP. And I really do think that they are kind of counting on Nob to make a play right here. With 20 seconds left, I believe he should be pretty close to his next Mandy super. So potentially gonna have to make a crazy play here. There's really not very much time left on the clock though. They're gonna be getting pushed back into the spawn. Tick hypercharge is coming down. But the Bell is landing some bounces, and they get a kill onto Nob. That should more or less do it, unless they're able to kill Copy, who has a Gust Shield, and they are not, even with the Mandy Super coming from off the screen. Got definitely enough to make us sweat it a little bit, but that is going to be set number 2 going to Ping Abusers. They take a 2-0 lead over Inner Circle, and if you watched yesterday, then you know that Ping Abusers did get swept. Inner Circle did win, so this is going to be kind of a complete reversal from what we saw on day 1 of Play Panda.
I'm actually surprised. I'm pleasantly surprised about how well Ping Abusers are doing against Inner Circle. It was sublime team play, I would say. Every time you had Mebius overcommitting, or rather committing, with his flying hook, getting into the positions where he's going to try to take a kill, you saw all 3 members of Ping Abusers just completely collapse on to him and take him out, just further extending their lead. So whatever Inner Circle brought to the table, Ping Abusers knew it in advance and just completely shut them down. I also like the fact that Covers and Yannick really collaborated well on the left lane to take down Nob and Rama one by one slowly, and the fact that Yannick was able to get so many of those taps off just made every single member of Inner Circle very, very scared to actually really commit into any sort of play, because every time they were tapped up, they had to go back to the mark expired. So very well played by Yannick.
100%. He was tapping like crazy on the RT, and if you guys have played RT, you probably know it's not the easiest brawler to hit consistent snipes on, but Yannick was absolutely dominating that Carl lane. Definitely a pretty favorable matchup for him, but either way, you still have to hit those shots against some of the best jukers in the world. So absolutely insane RT gameplay right there, and you can just tell that Ping Abusers had a comp that they were pretty confident in, even with losing that blue star interaction every single game. They never faltered. They knew exactly how to hold their positioning down, and we never really saw those unlimited bell traps coming into play because they just simply never had to push back that far.
Yeah, I mean, the one of the issues that I feel with the Bell pick here was that every single time they went in with Mebius with the blue star, they were forced to move back because of getting the blue star. Mebius was shot down, so as a result, they had to move back to regen. So when that happens, you're going to have all the bell traps and spawn where Ping Abusers are never really going to be going in. So I don't know. I felt like that was probably one of the issues with their draft. We're going to go into the next draft here. It's going to be Bell's Rock between Ping Abusers and Inner Circle. First pick is going to be Gray. We have our bans. They're going to be Gene, Angelo, Lumi, Tick, Ollie, and Kit.
Yep, definitely a lot of the bans that you would expect to see. Not expecting to see Lumi in play at all today. But a little bit surprised to see the Gray first pick, considering he does kind of get outrange, but it looks like they are going to be kind of playing around those walls, trying to hit those pulls through the wall and then teleport for a kill confirmation. Looks like Ping Abusers is going to be adding a little bit more beef to their team, though, with that same RT Gus combo that we saw in the last set. So it seems like a combo that they are quite comfortable playing with the Kooky Poppers, with the RT marks. Definitely a lot of damage, and can definitely take you down a little bit quicker than you expect sometimes when you do have that RT mark on your head, Panda.
And we're gonna have the Gus coming out as well. I like the Gus as well because you're gonna be shielded up in the the later stages of the game. Also with the Kooky Popper, it's just such a good gadget to completely take out people and deny you entry into certain lanes if you're kind of low. I think that they have to pair up this RT with something useful to actually capitalize on those marks, which I guess Yannick is going to be putting on the other team. But this first Gray pick is going to give them Inner Circle a lot of flexibility as to what they can possibly pick up here.
Yeah, I'm not super surprised to see Ping Abusers just trying to outrange that Gray. Obviously, Gray is at his best when he's able to hook you through that wall, when he's able to teleport onto you. But if you have a little bit of beefier brawlers that still have range on their heads, like RT, like Gus, it's going to be a lot harder for Gray to confirm those kills. Not surprised at all to see Inner Circle taking the Piper there. Obviously, a staple of the knockout and bounty meta. So she's going to be trying to get that range in there with those homemade recipe curveballs. And they're going to add a Rico as well. So it looks like they will be trying to utilize these walls a little bit. Likely going to be sending the Rico down the middle. Ping Abusers is not faltering, though. They are going to take a Grom, who, since he's received this hypercharge, has been a sneaky slept-on brawler in the meta right now, especially in knockout. Once you get to the end of those rounds, if you're able to get a Grom hypercharge, it is more or less game over. So very curious if we'll even see the Grom get a hypercharge in this game. But if he does, definitely something to keep your eye out for. We're going to see a lot of utility coming on the side of Ping Abusers.
That is actually surprising to me because I haven't seen Grom in competitive since this hypercharge came out, except once, maybe once or twice. So maybe he is slept on. Maybe Ping Abusers have found some special sauce which makes Grom really good. But considering the comp that they're going up against, I like the Grom pick, but they have to be careful about not really getting into the line of sight of, say, a Gray.
Yep, 100%. I mean, the Grom does have that totem that can take for tank for the Gray, which maybe gives him a little bit of an advantage over like some of the more common throwers like Sprout. Obviously, Tick being banned does make Grom the brawler with the most range, but we are going to be seeing Ping Abusers kind of cleaning up in this first round, Panda. It is just going to be Nob left in a 1v3. Yannick is going to make quick work of that, and we are seeing some insane gameplay come down from Ping Abusers. We're going to have to see how this round starts, but we already see Copy with a Grom super, so maybe that Grom hypercharge is going to be in play. I guess we'll have to wait and find out. Yannick is going to be 1v1ing Mevius on the right side of the map with their sniper matchup here. And I'm just not too sure how confident I am in this Rico pick. I feel like it's hard for him to maneuver in this area with the Grom utility coming through. He's barely going to survive that. And it looks like Inner Circle does maybe have a little bit of Ping Abusers might have a little bit of an outcomp here, Panda.
That might be. And it is interesting that Rama is going for the bouncy castle. I think he wants to just keep healed up a little bit. Yannick going up against Mebius in this right-hand corner. But I feel like Inner Circle are doing a pretty bang-up job to stay alive and pressure Ping Abusers to spawn. But now Copy does have the hypercharge, so they'd be careful about that. Mebius popping his own hypercharge coming in from Copy. He gets marked out, but he gets a kill onto Rama, gets taken out himself, and now we have a 2v2 in the mid.
2v2 is going crazy right now. We're going to have to see Yannick hit some of these snipes, but the teleport's going to come through for Nob. No kills coming out of that quite yet. Yannick does get a tap, but not going to be able to finish him off. Inner Circle is so weak right here, but they still might be able to come away with this. Not going to happen, though. Yannick gets the final kill, and Covers is going to be the lone man standing at the end of the day. Ping Abusers is taking them to match set, and Inner Circle is on the verge of getting swept right now, Panda. Cannot believe it.
I am at a loss for words. Pig Abuser is completely making Inner Circle look like a rank amateur team. It's kind of crazy how good Ping Abusers are doing right now. We're going to go into the second game off this third set and possibly the last one. Ping Abusers are on match point, but hopefully they don't jinx themselves here. We go into this first round here. Rama going to be aggressing here. Very, very aggro position. Trying to get Copy down, but not able to do so just yet. But I'm kind of crazy that Rama has been allowed to stay alive for so long. Copy falls, so does Yannick, and now Covers is going to be the next to fall. And Inner Circle with a very swift response here.
100%. I agree with your take on that. They cannot let Rama get that wiggly and get that far into their spawn. It's just going to be too much pressure, and we were able to see Nob capitalize with a shot through the wall with that walking cane. So crazy movement from Rama. Definitely well played. It looks like he's coming a little bit different this round, which his team definitely needs. The Rico super comes down, but a little bit too aggressive perhaps, as Copy's going to be able to finish him off with that super, getting a little bit of spins in, getting a little bit of sprays in, but really funny stuff going down there. Unbelievable that they're able to get that kill. He tanks it, the Gray Hook as well with that Grom gadget. So crazy stuff going on right now, but we are going to see Ping Abusers on top right now, 3-2 players.
That was insane from Copy. That super the kill Rama and then sauce them with a spray. That was a little bit cheeky. I don't know if that was well thought out because they are down in terms of at least a round score. So it could still possibly be a reverse sweep, but Mebius is going down and now the lone man alive is Gray the Knob. He gets a pull there, but I don't really think that he has a way forward. He should probably go into the smoke, and he finally does.
Looks like he was just trying to get a little bit closer to that hypercharge, but in that time, it looks like Copy also got pretty close to that hypercharge. He's going to have that online. Definitely going to make Rama's life hard in the middle of the map here. If he does get hit with that Grom hypercharge, it is more or less going to be game over for Inner Circle. So we're going to have to see how early Copy is going to let this thing fly. But that's definitely the player I've got my eyes on right here. If he's able to connect with that, I don't see a way that Inner Circle is going to be able to come out on top of this interaction.
Copy will have to over-aggress when he uses the hypercharge when he pops it, and I feel like that might be the play, the counter play for Gray, but no, it doesn't make any connections, so that hypercharge did not really pay dividends, but a nice gadget by Copy to obviate and nullify the walking cane from Knob.
Yeah, it looks like he mostly used it for positioning here. I do feel like it might have been a little bit early, though, since we don't see the smoke coming in quite yet. And Inner Circle is just kind of able to retreat into the backlines here. But Mebius and Yannick are going to be still in their snipe off on the left side of the map, kind of tying that out. But we see the Gray teleport in. Knob is getting some good damage. Covers may have to pop his shield. Mebius pops the hypercharge. He's going to go down to Copy. Copy is doing so much work over here. Rama's trying to use his speed to do all he can, but he is the lone member remaining, and he is going to go down. That's going to give us a clean sweep for the ping abusers.
I never thought I would say that. I never thought that we would be here announcing that Ping Abusers got a clean sweep against another team. That is crazy coming in from Ping Abusers. 3-0 to Inner Circle. That was insane. Congratulations to Ping Abusers. You guys rock, bro. I honestly didn't expect this.
That's awesome. You always love to see an underdog coming out on top, and that's exactly what we get to start off today's day of games with. Well played to Ping Abusers, especially Copy. I feel like he played a fantastic thrower in so many of these sets. You got to give the credit to the kid, man. Fantastic gameplay, and I was expecting a little bit more from Inner Circle today after their dominant performance yesterday, but I have no doubts that this team will bounce back and give us plenty of banger games coming up later in the days.
See, this is the thing with EMEA. You never know what you're going to get. It's like a mixed bag of tricks. You might have a team which can take the defending monthly finals champions 3-1, and the next day get completely swept by the most underwhelming team that we have in the ensemble here. So that is kind of crazy. This is why I love casting EMEA. We're going to take a small break of about 3 minutes, and we will see you for Eclipse Our Esport versus Team Heretics, which I'm sure is going to be a banger for match, Duncan.
Should be a fantastic game. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what Heretics has. After getting swept yesterday in a very competitive sweep nonetheless, I think that Heretics has more to show us, and I'm excited to see what they've got, but should be a banger. Can't wait to get back to it.
See you in 3 minutes. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to OWN Valencia Masters. I am your host, Pentacast, joined by the amazing Duncan, and I hope you guys are excited for what we have for you today. But first up, we have to mention that Ping Abusers beat Inner Circle 3-0 in a clean sweep, in case you are joining us a bit late. Right now, though, on the docket is a pretty special match. It's going to be Eclipse our Esports versus Team Heretics, and I am here for all of that high-octane action.
Very excited for this. We did see Eclipsar lose to Inner Circle yesterday in a little bit of an unexpected upset there. So definitely expecting Eclipsar to come back with a little bit of vengeance today. And we are going to be seeing Heretics, who also got a little bit devastated by Team SK. So it's going to be two teams that both lost yesterday, looking to kind of get themselves on the board in today's day of league play. I'm very excited to see which team steps up to the occasion and goes 1-1 rather than falling back into 0-2 and putting themselves at a real disadvantage to make playoffs.
Yeah, and Eclipse our Esports are the defending EMEA monthly finals champions. They do have a realistic path to the Brawl Cup, so I feel like all of the recent matches, all of the matches that they're playing right now are so important to make sure that they're always in top shape in terms of their fighting form. But the recent showings, especially in the last 2 weeks, haven't really given me all that confidence. Team Heretics, on the other hand, have been doing recently pretty well with a slew of victories in third-party tournaments, and they've also booked a berth in the monthly finals, but they did get swept by SK yesterday. But I have to mention that despite being swept, it was a very close game. I feel like the 3-0 doesn't justify how close all of the games were. They went down to the wire, and we saw a fantastic bowl by Lana. And the fact that Team Heretics were able to run that on Hard Rock Mine and facilitate that itself was crazy to me. This is a grand finals caliber match. Do not get that twisted, because these teams in the monthly finals can only meet each other in the grand finals this weekend.
Yeah, 100%. I'm very excited to see what type of crazy drafts we might see coming out from Team Heretics today. Maybe not anything as crazy as the Cat Bull combo, but either way, they always are pulling up alpha meta picks, and I'm super excited to see if there's anything that catches us off guard and kind of makes us scratch our heads that maybe we were sleeping on, and maybe it is going to be kind of upcoming in the next meta. They are kind of ahead of the curve on some of these picks right here, but Eclipsar is definitely going to have to bounce back. I definitely am expecting a little bit more from them in today's day of league play. I think that we should have a great matchup on our hands here, though.
And we have 5 maps for you guys here. Bridge Too Far, followed by Pinhole Punt. Then we got Layer Cake, Gold Arm Gulch if we get a 4th set, and if it's pushed all the way, it's gonna be Ring of Fire. I honestly expect this to go all the way. At least I hope, because I would like to see 5 sets between these two teams. It would be really awesome to watch.
100%. We haven't seen a single match go to 5 sets yet, so hopefully we'll get our first one going down right here. I'm super looking forward to it. Starting off on Bridge Too Far, though, definitely one of the cheesier maps in the game, so I'm curious if, especially if Heretics is going to pull out anything crazy. Maybe they'll pull out the Cat Juan Carlos style on Bridge Too Far, but probably not. Well, you never know, though. Definitely should be a long-ranged base race type of map, though, so very curious. It's definitely kind of crazy to start off on Heist, considering that the playstyle for Heist is so much different than a lot of the rest of Brawl Stars.
That's true, and I feel like the playstyle of Heist varies so much from map to map. For example, if you look at Bridge Too Far, a safe zone, and then you compare it to a map like Pit Stop, the variance is just crazy. It's almost like you're comparing 2 different game modes and the playstyles as well. But in Bridge Too Far, we have a lot of sharpshooters coming in. We also have just insane damage dealers like Colt. I feel like this is the map for Colt. This is where Colt really shines. Bell is also another great shout here on this map, because specifically the gadget rework makes Bell so much more of a threat. If you're able to hold lane for such a long time and you happen to die, those bear traps are going to start really racking up, and it's going to be a big hazard for any team that's trying to come down the other lane. But, you know, you have other picks like Chuck, which could be helpful for diving on the safe. You have the Daryl, which does the same task, and the Melody, which can also do the same thing. But getting across the map is such a difficult task in a map such as this one. We are going to go into our draft, and we have our bans are going to be Eve, Juju, double Chuck ban. Neither team wants that smoke, along with a Lumi and an Angelo ban, with Eclipsar going for the Lola as their first pick.
Very interesting to see the Lola come down first. Typically, you do see a little bit more ranged options coming in, like in the beginning part of this draft, assuming that there's not like Chuck or another brawler that you like specifically want to dive on the safe with. But I'm a little bit surprised to see the Lola coming out first, especially since, like you were saying, Bell is pretty prevalent on this map, and that is definitely one of the harder counters to Lola, in my opinion. So wouldn't be surprised to see Heretics picking up a Bell here. Also, it looks like Colt managed to slip through the bans, as well as Colette. So we've got a couple of higher, oh, and Melody too. So we've got some of our higher safe damage brawlers still on the board. Pretty much all of them except for Chuck managed to escape the ban phase here. We see Heretics come out with a Carl and a Bow though. So very interesting to see the Bow. He's a brawler that has kind of been resurging into the meta since he got that hypercharge, but he's got sneaky underrated damage. And with that hypercharge, you were able to get not only your 5 hyper mines on the safe, but you could have your 3 previous mines on the safe as well. So we could potentially be seeing 8 bow mines hit the safe at some point in this game. That would be pretty wild to see. But Eclipstar is going to be trying to do what they can about that with a Max and a Melody.
Ooh. So the Max Melody composition makes so much sense because Melody can get across the map easily enough, but with the max speed, it's going to be even more of a threat here. I like the bow pick. It addresses Lola to a certain extent because of the fact that you can split the arrows, and Amber is going to be coming out for Team Heretics. I feel like that also addresses 2 things. One is the Megalomaniac, obviously, the fire damage on the safe as well, and also the fact that you can remove the grass from the mid, so the middle of the map. I wouldn't say it mid per se on lanes, but that's going to be great for ensuring that you don't get caught out randomly from, say, a charging Melody.
Absolutely. I also think that the Amber might be coming into play kind of as a Melody counter, since you can use your Amber spinnies to kind of counter out the Melody spinnies on defense sometimes. So maybe that's kind of what we're seeing there. Obviously, if the Amber does get on the safe, it can be a lot of damage, but we're seeing a bunch of brawlers that you don't typically see in Heist, but that do have a lot of higher damage abilities that they might be able to pull out as we get into our first game. And it looks like we are just going to have all 3 teams going 1 person per lane, just trying to win their individual matchups off rip here.
Indeed, and already we see how effective Lena's heat ejector is. It kept back C7 for a long time here. Drage gets the kill on a Marco, not really aggressing, scared to get taken out by Dawn when he is committing on that safe there. But on the other side, C7 getting his Megalomaniac up is able to get so much damage on the objective. Marco gets taken out once more by Drage, who puts down mines on the safe, and that's going to be huge. And now Dawn going to go on the right-hand side, but does get pushed back by the, I guess, iChaos there on the Amber.
Yeah, we're seeing Drage win this matchup in the mid, but it's just really not leading to as much damage as we might expected. Obviously, the bow mines are going to be doing a ton of work, but so far, C7 has really been the star of the game for me. He's been holding down his lane, absolute domination over on that side. They're going to switch Drage onto him to try to address that, but we are seeing Dawn face off against iChaos on the right side. Not super close to super, if I remember correctly, but Lenon is going to be making his push now, getting a gadget onto the safe. Drage pops hyper as well. Looks like he's trying to get his super to get those 5 mines onto the safe. Marco's going to clean up on defense, though, and C7 is just going to be trying to beef with Drage, keep him back as Don and Marco try to get some damage up here.
This is why I keep saying Bo is such a good soft counter to Lola. It just keeps her back, and she can't really aggress. But on the other hand, Bo can't aggress either. Nice speed coming in from Marco. Going to be giving Dawn a little bit of pressure to be able to go in. Dawn does get his super back. Is trying to get the kill on Lena. Does not get it. Lena does have a hypercharge. That's a bit scary for them. C7 gets burnt up by the Amber. I think this is a really good positioning from Team Heretics here.
100%, but Lenon is going to go down in the middle, so Marco might be able to get a little bit of damage or more or less distract, so Dawn can get a little bit of damage. C7 somehow comes out on top of his 1v1 with Drage over on the left side, so we see Eclipstar with a little bit of better positioning, and they're going to need it as they are down about 10% on the safe damage right now.
Ooh, Lena going in with his hypercharge. Not exactly sure what the play there was. I think he thought he could get a heat ejector off, but now Dawn pops his gadget along with Marco. Marco also has a super that he could use. Dawn trying to get a little bit more value. It is tied at 53-53. Few more seconds, 4 seconds left. C7 is able to get the kill. So does Lena. And that's ECP getting game number 1 in the dying seconds.
Wow, that Lola hypercharge could not have come at a better time. A lot of people disrespect the Lola hypercharge since it does take so long to charge. Obviously not proving our point super wrong there since it did take the entire game, but it came through right at the perfect moment. They were able to break through with the help of Marco on the max. Fantastically played by Eclipstar not to give up any positioning at the end. They could not afford a single drop of damage onto their safe, and they were able to come out at the end with that last like 10-15% to take the lead there. Marco is going to be going straight onto Lena this time. He is going to just kind of ignore him and get that fire onto the safe. But now we have a speed coming through. C7 might be able to do a little bit of work as Drage is going to be trying to 2v1 with very low HP right now.
Yeah, I think Team Heretics have changed up their game plan a little bit. They're going directly for the safe damage when given the opportunity, even if it means that they're going to be dying. I think that makes sense because of the objective at hand here. There is a slight lead for Heretics by about 14%. The name of the game is, can they hold on?
Yeah, it looks like they are kind of holding on right now. I mean, not a whole lot of positioning going down from either team here. Marco is having a tricky time on the Chaos, being outranged by that Amber. We're going to see double fire coming down from Lana and Chaos, 2 fire abilities onto that safe, and it is just burning down close to 50%, as Don is going to make his first run for the safe, but he's going to get neutralized by Drage. Drage is pretty much just being left by his team to play defense, but he is stepping up to the occasion. Nobody has really been able to slip through and get more than a couple percent on Drage.
The C7, though, has been holding back Drage, I have to mention, quite effectively. It's, I guess, both ways. Neither member really relenting, but not getting much here. But Luna gets a kill under Dawn. So does iChaos on Marco. And now they're going to be able to go ham on the safe. There is going to be a gadget on the safe as well. And Team Heretics looking really strong right now. They are able to cap it off with a dub and are able to reply. It's tied at 1 apiece in the first set, Duncan.
That's going to do it. I mean, they were just dominating both of the lanes outside of C7's lane. He was holding it down onto Drage, but they did not really have an answer. The max onto the Amber, I don't think was getting the job done to the degree that they really needed. And they were just able to, once they get that Amber onto the safe, it is more or less over, especially when you add in Amber's fire, especially when you add in Carl's fire. Looks like Heretics did a much better job just kind of prioritizing the objective this game. And we're going to see Eclipstar switch up the strategy, moving C7 onto Chaos's lane on the right side.
Heat ejector coming in. Dawn should go down. He does go down. C7 gets a kill on his own lane, but gets taken out by Lana. Lana in a good position, trying to get a little bit of damage onto the safe, but he gets taken out by Dawn. Not too much value coming in from Team Heretics, despite the number of kills that they got here, and neutralized iChaos. It does the Melody. And on the other side, though, Drake gets a kill on a Marco, so they can aggress on the left-hand side.
I think we're going to have to see a little bit more safe damage coming in through Don this game, whether he has to double stack a lane or not. I think that they are not going to really have an easy time winning this game without the Melody damage, but they are taking a ton of damage right now. As you can see, Eclipstar's safe is already at 30% compared to the 70% of Team Heretics safe, so it looks like they are going to be fighting another uphill battle here, as they do have positioning right now, but just not really working out the best for them so far. But it looks like Eclipstar has the position back. They are getting a lot of damage, and we are going to be in a pretty close game with Heretics up by about 16-17%.
Amber is such a hard lane to go up against, because if you try to really commit on that lane, she's just going to go back and get all that guaranteed damage on you. Now we see a hypercharge coming in from Dawn. He gets a kill onto Luna, but he gets taken out and neutralized by Chaos. iChaos tries to find the kill onto Marco, not able to do so. Marco getting a little bit more incidental damage. There's a hypercharge coming in from Marco, gets a help onto Dawn. Marco also cognizant of the fact that Luna would get the kill there, tries to get him out. There is a heat ejector on the safe here as well. iChaos going all in. The safe is down so low. Can they find the kill? It's not. It's gonna narrowly survive.
That's crazy. They're surviving on 1% here. Obviously not a whole lot of room for error from Eclipstar from this moment, but it's definitely not out of the picture yet. We've seen crazier things happen in Heist, but it's going to be hard for Eclipstar to push up, especially with Drage's mines on the right side, keeping C7 back. I do still believe that it's going to have to be a dive from Don to be able to win this, but he cannot afford to leave anybody to touch the safe. It looks like Chaos is going to break through and barely not get it, but Drage is there to finish the job. And that's going to be Team Heretics winning the last 2 games of this set and going up 1-0 over Eclipstar with a fantastic Heist performance. You could just tell they adapted to the new strategy so well and playing that objective-based mode.
Gotta say, they responded so well to Eclipstar. They noticed that they were not winning the control game, so they started just committing whenever they could possibly commit. When you had one member of Eclipstar go down, you see both the mid and one of the other lanes commit from the side of Team Heretics to take down the Eclipstar's safe repeatedly, slowly chipping away at it, and made a huge dent in it towards the end. So very well played. I have to mention that iChaos just committing so often was great to see, but Drage versus C7, I feel like it was a battle of the ages on lane. It was crazy how, I guess, invested both these guys were, just to ensure that the other person can't really take an inch from them.
Yeah, that was absolutely a stalemate between those two players, but I think that the main difference in this game was iChaos being able to get onto the safe a little bit more than Dawn on the Melody. I feel like when you have a Melody and she's not really getting onto the safe, then she's not really doing a whole lot of anything else for your team either. So if you pick that Melody, you definitely want to bank on her getting onto safe. Chaos was able to do such a fantastic job of using his circle gadget to counter out the Melody circles, and really that was kind of the difference at the end of the day. They were just able to survive those dives from Eclipsar, while Eclipsar was not able to survive those dives from Heretics.
Astute observation there, Duncan. We're gonna go into the next set. It's gonna be pinhole punt. Maybe Eclipsar can claw one back from Team Heretics. I feel like both these teams are playing it really well with good drafts that they're comfortable with, I would say. And it just comes down to the team play. And I feel like as a team, we saw better team plays coming in from Team Heretics, which I feel like we don't say as often in this year, but it's confidence inspiring for sure as we go into pinhole punt.
100%. They surely have the ability to do it. I definitely am looking forward to seeing them put some of these pieces together, but it looks like this could be what we need. And we're going into our second set here at Pinhole Punt. Looks like our bans are going to be Meeple, Poco, Chester, Lou, B, and Lumi. So unsurprised to see Lumi out of the picture once again. And Eclipsar is going to be taking a tank first pick, hopping on that Buster. Definitely one of the more versatile tanks, considering you have that shield to be able to block so many different attacks in the game. You have that pull gadget to be able to get a free goal if you're able to get it set up correctly. So not super surprised to see a Buster come down. Obviously though, being a tank, there are still a lot of tank counters that are going to be able to deal with Buster until he has that shield.
Yeah, and Buster is the most picked brawler in this map. So the fact that it was open was kind of crazy. And with Lou being removed from the equation, you already don't have one of the best answers to the Buster itself. There is a Carl which is open, which does really well in the meta. It is high. It has a high pick rate. It has a pretty good win rate, and it's going to be snatched up by Team Heretics. And they also nab the stew as well. So a very aggressive composition coming in from Team Heretics. But if Eclipsar doubled down on a tankier option here, I don't really know if Team Heretics are up to the task.
100%. I think that the Carl pick was definitely expected here. Stu with the Carl, though, does kind of leave a little bit of damage out on the field right here. So I wouldn't be surprised if Eclipsar maybe goes with something like a Max and a tank to try to capitalize on that. They would kind of have to full commit in order to pull off that strategy effectively. But Heretic seems to be going for some more like safe kind of picks that they're more comfortable playing, just kind of like winning their lanes with. Maybe not as much of like a brawl ball like dive type of goal scoring comp. So I guess I'm curious to see what Eclipsar is going to add here. If they full commit to the tank strategy, Heretics is going to have an answer. Obviously, a lot of tank counters left on the board, including brawlers like Otis that you maybe have been seeing a little bit more recently that could kind of shut that stuff down. But it's going to be interesting to see what Eclipsar goes here.
I mean, you could also put a little bit of a spin to the whole thing. Finks is available. It has a pretty decent rate, use rate, and the win rate is also incredibly high. We have Mo, which has had a resurgence in the meta after recent changes here, along with the Max. So they have a lot of bulk coming in, and then Mo has the dive ability to just go in and assassinate people. So I like this composition from Eclipsar Esports. They have a little bit of control. They have a little bit of sustain. They have a lot of aggression in the form of the Max along with the Buster, and they have dive capabilities. So well-rounded comp coming from Eclipsar.
I like it a lot. I think that the Max pick is fantastic to pair with the Buster, and I'm excited to see the Mouse. Have not seen him in play yet in this set, and as you said, the Finks is going to come into play here for Team Heretics. So I think we did see them play Finks yesterday as well and had a decent amount of success with it, but he's definitely going to have to be locked in, hitting those shots onto the Buster to kind of keep him back. I'm curious to see how this Mo pick works. I feel like it could be pretty solid, especially against a Carl, but I feel like he might struggle a little bit with the Stew and the Finks. We're going to have to see if I'm proven wrong by that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, also Mo does have that knockback capability to shut down that Carl, but I am interested in seeing the Sphinx because it does have a wide projectile range, and I feel like a lot of pros rate it highly as a result of that. We're going to go into game number 1 of the second set. Team Heretics is the first one in a 2-1. Let's see if Eclipsar can respond.
First kill of the game is going to come from iChaos' Finks, getting Don out of the picture already. That speed turret from the Stew was doing a ton of work at the beginning of this game, just allowing his team to be able to juke all of these shots. And we're going to see Heretics take pretty much full positioning with the Carl gadget, blocking off so much of the goal here. And they might have a chance unless Marco is able to clear this, and he is. Don is going to be the last line of defense. If he's able to kill the Stew, it should buy them a little bit of time. And we're going to see Heretics kind of reset in the mid here. After a great look, they were not able to come away with the goal there, Panda.
Yeah, I feel like that's been happening a lot to Team Heretics in the recent past. They have been getting some good kills, but not able to commit to getting a game-changing outcome for them. This is regardless of the set that they're playing or the game mode. Big stuns coming in. Ooh, Drage gets a kill on a C7. That's huge. He almost got taken out there. Drage does have the ball, but doesn't really have a way forward. He might be taken out by Marco. He does. There is a super from Lana. He tries to go on a Dawn. Can he find the kill? He does get the trade, but iKaos finding the kill on a Dawn as Lana goes down.
Absolutely so much action going down in the middle right here with Chaos kind of cleaning it all up, being the janitor for his team right now. But we're going to see the Mo on the right side of the map. C7 trying to get back into his next drill. Don's coming up with the max speed with the Buster Hypercharge. So he's got a ton of utility. They're basically just trying to get back this middle grass, though, and kind of take positioning for the first time that we've seen in this set. It has been pretty much all Heretics as far as positioning goes so far. And Chaos is not going to let up with absolutely blasting through him with the Finks. That damage from the Finks can be so underrated at times. And he's going to take advantage of that. Heretics has fantastic positioning with a Lana Hyper as well, which he is going to pop. Maybe going to throw a gadget up here as well, but the mouse kind of cleans up. Drage going for the goal. Not going to work. And it looks like Heretics is going to finally come out with the goal after kind of dominating positioning the entire time. Fantastic plays from Drage. Fantastic plays from Chaos to be able to clean up in the middle there. Crazy first stuff going down to be able to grant Heretics their first goal of the set.
Drage with a hypercharge. He props the purple button, almost getting taken out. He does get taken out, not able to capitalize there. Lana falls as well. Now Marco has the ball. Ooh, nice gadget from Chaos to get back in the defensive line. I have to say that was cool, but it didn't work out for them as Eclipse are able to equalize with 11 seconds on the clock.
It's an awesome Finks play, knowing exactly where he was about to end up after that gadget. But either way, just too much HP coming through from Don specifically, able to get through that goal. Now we're going to be going into overtime. Drage goes for the shot, and he's not able to hit it. That was so close. Well defended from Eclipsar. And now they're running up with max speed. Another Buster Hypercharge is available. He does use the shield a little bit late to get the full circle there. But I'm very curious to see if the mouse might be able to make a play here. Obviously, with that dash, you can make some crazy goals in Brawl Ball overtime. He's going to be using it just to kind of counter out Lana, though. And it looks like we're going to have a 2v3. And the ball is going to be pretty much left in the corner for the time being.
Ooh, insane plays coming in from Team Heretics to keep the game alive. Now Marco, the only one in his team, but C7 has resumed service in the mid. 25 seconds left. It's looking like it might be a draw here. Lana with the heat ejector along with the hypercharge, trying to find his super. I think he's close to it, but doesn't find it in the nick of time. 15 seconds left. The ball still cornered on the left quarters here as Dawn is going to be low. Big super coming in from Chaos, and now hypercharge as well. Drage can't pass the ball. He tries to go for a little bit of a cheeky play. Marco gets the ball. He manages to clear it, but is it going to be enough? Oh, just about in the nick of time. Team Heretics are going to get this one. The first game in the bag. That's crazy. They're back in form.
That was the perfect time for a Stu Hypercharge to come down. Very well played by Drage, just to dance around. Not trying to rush it too much, but they were able to get the squad wipe and barely force the ball in with 1 second remaining on the clock. Absolutely insane stuff. Always hate to see a tie, so very happy to see at least one team step away with the win there. Very well played to Team Heretics. Fantastic stuff.
Beautiful, beautiful poetry in motion. We're going to go into the second game here. Eclipsar have to find a path forward. Otherwise, they're going to be probably taking the 2-0. So obviously they're not going to take that line down. With 20 seconds elapsing, not really much has happened. Though control on the side of Team Heretics as they place the ball in a very aggro position. Lana going to be using his HP and bulk. Ooh, almost gets a bullet! That was kind of crazy. Lots of kills coming in. A complete team wipe. Team Heretics just styling on their opponents.
Lanan is going insane on the car right now. You see him bouncing it off the wall just to get his pickaxe out and retain possession of the ball. A crazy high-level car play, and Lanan is absolutely putting on a Carl masterclass right now, hitting pretty much every single fire gadget as well. Crazy stuff going down from him, clearing up so much space from his team. And once again, we just have not seen Heretics lose control of the mid very often. This is looking like some of the best mid control that Eclipsar has had as of right now, but Chaos is going to be trying to slam up and put a stop to that. Lanan's going in with the super. He's trying to full send on this goal right here. He might be able to get it, but not going to try to get a little too cute with it. Marco was prepared for that, and now we're going to see Eclipsar take full mid control with a Buster super as well. Might be able to try to tie it up again.
Indeed, there is a super on the right-hand side. Chaos going to be very scary to face off here as a result of that. And Lana as well gets a really fast pickaxe as a result, but big speed coming in. Hypercharged as well by Dawn. Dawn going in, tries to find value, not able to do it. They get whiffed here. Marco trying to pass the ball to C7, but it gets cleared by Drage. A beautiful defense sign coming from Team Heretics.
Fantastic defense. Maybe a little bit sloppy and rushed from Eclipsar there, trying to force in the goal. You got to respect it. They haven't had too much control of this game the entire time. C7's going to have to tank that fire from Lana just to be able to save the goal right here. But it looks like it's probably going to be Don kind of on his own on defense here. If he's able to not clear that ball, Lana might get it, and he does. His spin ends at the perfect time to catch the ball before Marco. And we see Heretics get a sweep in Brawl Ball, and they're going to be taking a 2-0 lead. Eclipsar's got to find an answer soon, Panda.
I am at a loss for words. Lana is back and forth, but the entire team is back and forth. But we're seeing Lana plays that we haven't seen in, I feel like, years now. It's kind of crazy how good that was. Oh my god. I'm sorry, I'm gonna sound like I'm glazing right now.
It's hard not to, man. When Lalam puts on a Carl performance like that, you have to glaze at least a little bit. He was going insane with some of the Carl tech that you don't see too often. He was bouncing it off the wall, getting his pickaxe out there with the fire gadget, just absolutely crazy utility, using the super to spawn directly onto the ball at the end of the game. And man, that was just an absolutely beautiful game from Heretics. The Finks looked like it was a fantastic mid-control brawler for them. And maybe as far as some of the more off-meta picks go, I definitely think I enjoyed watching the Finks more than I enjoyed watching the Mo. Not a whole lot of mouse utility to speak of in that set.
Yeah, I feel like Finks is a brawler that people need to look out for more, because in maps which are mid to long range and quite open, once you get that Finks super down, it is very hard to really compete against Finks or any brawler on that lane. So I think that people need to revisit how effective Finks can be in terms of how it centralizes the meta, and you might see it being banned out more. I'm not saying that because of that specific set in particular, but I feel like that's something that people need to be cognizant of, if that makes sense.
100%, especially into a pretty meta brawler like Max. I do see Finks as being a pretty solid counter to Max tank. I feel like the Max shots going through that Finks super are incredibly easy to dodge, and then obviously you have a little bit of a range advantage. You can kind of just blast through the Max with that high damage middle shot. And honestly, just the Finks gameplay was fantastic to see. I definitely am thinking I need to practice my Finks a little bit more, maybe get him above 500 trophies for the first time.
I mean, he really is. The entire team is really showing us the viability of brawlers in certain niches and why you shouldn't really sleep on them. We're going to go into Layer Cake next, and let's see if we're going to get a little bit more of these saucy drafts coming in from Team Heretics. We know how Drage has like a bag of tricks, and you don't know exactly what he's going to be going. And hopefully we see a little bit more of that unpredictability here in Layer Cake. Just looking at some of the brawlers here, what do you think are some of the more meta picks here, Duncan?
Well, assuming that Lumi is going to be banned, I feel like we wouldn't be surprised to see a Gray come into play. We've seen a lot of teams enjoy the bounty/knockout Gray picks. Even though he doesn't have the best range, being able to hook as well as teleport can make the end game so important right there with the Gray. Same thing goes for Jean, and I think that like Meeple, Mandy, Angelo, and Piper could be some other brawlers that we see in here. One that I want to look out for that isn't as common though would be a Squeak. I feel like the Squeak gadget is super underrated here. You can make a lot of crazy plays with that Squeak range. But besides that, I guess like Juju would probably be like the thrower that I have my eyes on the most. And I guess the one last fun pick that I kind of am hoping we get to see would be a Shade. This is a map that you can get away with running a Shade, and I would definitely love to see a tank player just kind of go a little bit crazy with that Shade, see what they can do with that.
Yeah, we're gonna go into our draft here between Eclipsar and Team Heretics. It is set number 3, and Eclipsar have taken the L in 2 straight sets. The first pick by Heretics is gonna be the Ollie. Just look at the bans. We have Lumi, Meeple, Carl, along with a Kit, Buster, and Gray being banned out. So teams don't really want to see that much of the shenanigans from either side. Jean is still open though, which is surprising to me. But Eclipsar just responding to that Ollie with the Janet and the Juju.
Janet can be so annoying on this map, so definitely makes sense to see that come down. That drop the base gadget is one of the most obnoxious things in Brawl Stars in my personal opinion, and I'm sure that the pro players feel the same. Just super annoying, stops your healing, and especially like being paired up with a Juju, and she's just kind of able to lob those shots on those opponents that are visible because they're taking the damage from that Janet gadget. I see this as a pretty solid combo. Only thing I'm a little bit worried about, they don't have a ton of damage on the side of Eclipsar Esports, and Heretics already has a tankier option with the Ollie right there, so we're going to see what they come down with here. It's going to be another Max, and then as well as a Larry pick, so a little bit surprised to see the Larry coming in. Obviously, without having the last pick on their side, they don't want to take a thrower like Sprout or like Grom that does get hard countered by specific like assassin brawlers. So I guess that's probably what they're going for here. Still a little bit surprised to see the Larry into the Juju. Definitely think Juju has the advantage in that. But the Max Ollie synergy should be pretty crazy. Definitely excited to see if Ollie's going to make any crazy plays with that max speed, with his dash, and with his jump ability.
with the dive ability that you get with the max. Oh, pull coming in. I love the magic hand is going to be, it's really great for Eclipsar Esport to be able to address Larry and Lori if they get a bit too close. Also, I would say it addresses almost any of the other brawlers that like to, really camp the walls here. But specifically, I think it's going to be great for Larry and Ollie.
Yeah, I could see it being a little bit difficult to hit a gene pull though. I mean, assuming Ollie and Max do technically have abilities that they could jump slash dash away from that. So wouldn't be surprised to see maybe a potential gene pull miss, but that's going to be so important from Eclipsar landing those gene pulls. If they're able to consistently hit that, then they should have the upper hand here. But knowing Heretics, they're going to be trying to wiggle out of those gene pulls as much as possible and try to apply that pressure. Curious who's going to be getting the blue star in this interaction. I have to assume it's going to be Heretics up with the lead at first.
Yeah, I think it does make sense for Heretics to get that, but that's mostly because of the Ollie. But I think they have to be careful because just going and getting the blue star just for the sake of getting a blue star might be a little difficult against the composition that they're up against. I mean, getting the blue star and dying is not the best deal, obviously. But let's see how this plays out. We're gonna go into set numero tres. It's gonna be Heretics versus Eclipsar. Eclipsar almost on the verge of getting swept by Team Heretics, the defending monthly finals champions.
Could be crazy stuff going down here. I'm intrigued to see which Ollie gadget we're going to see come into play here. I think we have seen both so far in this day of league play. We've seen the Ollie with the jump gadget, which obviously would be a little bit better for getting control of that blue star. But with the other gadget, the one that just shoots out and then stuns them that way, we have seen that get a lot of value here. I'm personally expecting to see the jump just because of the blue star situation. But yeah, like we said, if he goes for that blue star without a jump, it could be taking a little bit more damage than he signed up for and giving Eclipsar a little bit of supercharge and maybe even being able to get a kill out of it.
Yeah, I mean, just for I guess clarity for people, right now we are having a little bit of a spectator bug, so we're just trying to resolve that, but we'll try to get the game up for you as soon as possible. So apologies for the inconvenience, but oh, here we go.
Perfect. Getting right into it, and it looks like Heretics does have a 1-star lead right now, but they are fully back in their spawn. Marco's going to hit a fantastic pull, but Lenon is going onto Don right now. He's going to get a kill. He has 4 stars. We're going to see Heretics up by 1 star right now, but ECP is in a fantastic position. The Janet super is online, but no hypercharge to speak of yet. Might make it a little bit hard for her to make a game-winning play right here. And it looks like Heretics is probably just going to be escaping back into their spawn in time to be able to walk away with game number 1, forcing a match point already from Eclipsar Gaming.
That's kind of crazy. We missed the majority of the match, but the fact that Heretics just won it by 1 star, it feels really I feel really bad for Eclipsar because it reminds me of how Heretics were swept by SK yesterday, and it was such a close game. And I feel like this is exactly how I feel watching this. We're gonna go into game number 2. This might be the last game that we see between these two sides, unless Eclipsar have some kind of response.
Potentially. I don't know if you guys caught that, but it looks like C7 is running the Janet jump gadget, so not even going to be rocking with the drop to base. A little bit crazy to see, most likely just as a play to escape from the Ollie as well as get the blue star. So we're going to see Eclipsar with a 1-0 lead because of that loadout decision right there. But it looks like Marco and Don are taking a pretty significant amount of positioning back right here, trying to stay on that Larry right now in our thrower 1v1.
Yeah, I feel like the drop the base not being there is probably a big miss. Ooh, Marco misses that super, and that was huge for them. Luna trying to go in. Can he get the kill onto Marco? He gets taken out instead, but there is a kill on the other side. There is going to be, though, a slight lead for Eclipsar Esports as they have a 1-star lead.
Lenon went in on very low HP already, and it looks like that did end up being a mistake. He wasn't able to get away with that, but Marco already has pullback online, and Chaos is in a horrible spot right now. He's going to end up Drage is going to end up tanking that pull for him. Probably a smart decision overall. I don't see a way that Marco wasn't going to pull somebody there. And now we see Don going up very aggressive too. Lenon might be able to capitalize, and he is. So we are going to see a 1-star lead for Eclipsar still. Heretics has that blue star on their heads right now, but I mean, we only have 30 seconds left on the board. Drage is going to have to take advantage of this max speed. Lana has super as well. Should be interesting to see what those two cook here.
Indeed, Marco just trying to get those puffs on people, just trying to get that super, because once he gets it, Hypercharge is going to be online, and that's going to de-incentivize Heretics from really moving up. So it's really now or never for them. Big speed coming in. Marco finally gets his super. There's a super coming in from Lana. Is he going to be able to get the hypnosis? He is, but he gets taken out. Unfortunate for Team Heretics. They are now down by 1 star. Dre's trying to make some kind of play here. Goes for the face shift. Nice pull coming
Another
in,
pull.
and Chaos falls as well, and Eclipse, our Esport, are able to respond in kind against this Team Heretics side, who are still on match point, by the way.
Dude, the pulls from Marco coming in at the end of that game were absolutely insane. He was locked in right there to try to secure that W, and a very much needed win coming in for Eclipsar. They definitely need to take this next one as well, but if they do, then we might find ourselves talking about this match a little bit differently. Very curious to see if Heretics is going to be able to kind of lock back in and take game number 3 and end this once and for all.
Indeed, we're going to go into the third game, the final game of this set, which determines whether we get a set 4 or Eclipsar are sent packing. And already, very good start for Eclipsar. They have the blue star as well, but they are back into spawn, maybe a bit too early and prematurely, so they have to fight to get back into positioning. And right now, Marco is going to be the linchpin for them. They need to get that super and push back the opponents.
Don is on very low HP fighting iChaos here on the left side, and it looks like he is benefiting greatly from those Gene Magic Puffs. Dre just trying to get a couple of beams onto him, but it's not going too well. Don looks like he is going to be able to get out of this situation, but like you said, they are so far back in the spawn already, and it's going to be difficult for them to push out of this situation right now. So very curious to see how this thrower matchup is going. It looks like Lanan is waiting for his time to go in right now, and as long as he doesn't rush it, I feel like he's going to be able to sit there for as long as he wants to.
Yeah, C7 and Lana, it's just a little bit of, you know, a game of chicken, who's going to be going in when. Marco finally has a super, Lana identifying that, and as a result has moved back all the way into the grass there, but he can still easily be pulled by Marco if he's not careful. But obviously, we know Lana has the gadget as well to jump out of harm's way, so it's just a game of, you know, I have this weapon, you have another weapon, let's just really see if you're going to be coming in or if I'm going to be doing it.
Pretty much, they're waiting to see who's going to make the first move, and it is going to be Marco going on to iChaos. I did not see that one coming. Fantastic pull once again. Marco is putting the team on his back with these Gene pulls. Absolutely crazy stuff coming down from him. We see a Gree forcing Lenane back as well, and with 15 seconds left, the 3-star lead is sitting on Eclipsar, and they're going to have to kill 2 players as well, because the player with the blue star does not have 3 stars.
Oh
and
my
it looks
God.
like they are going to kill 2 players. C7's going to be trying to go in. He gets the kill with the Janet Bomb, and that is going to secure it. Fantastic fly from C7 to be able to clutch that up. Eclipsar is going to take their first set of the day. Fantastically played from them, especially C7 getting that final kill, and Marco hitting so many fantastic pulls. Absolutely insane finish. Did not expect that one to go down the way it did, Panda.
That was highway robbery coming in from Eclipsar Esport. I am sure a lot of Heretic fans are going to get a little bit of whiplash, because I don't know if you remember what happened in the monthly qualifiers in the upper bracket. Team Heretics took 2 sets against Humble and then were reverse swept. So I do not think that Team Heretics want to face that ever again. We're going to be going to Gold Arm Gulch, but I have to mention, those pulls by the Gene were just so on point, completely shutting down the opposing team. And I feel like they were so hyper fixated on Lanab going to be pulled on the right hand side, like I was, that him going for the opposing iChaos on the left hand side was a complete change of the script. So nobody really expected that except for Eclipsar, and it happened and it paid dividends. But I have to say, the last second play by C7 to go in on the Janet, go in on the super, and get that kill to flip the result on its head in the last second was kind of crazy.
So many stars going down at that last second of that game. I could not believe that she was able to hit that one singular bomb. C7 was super locked in on that, but absolutely amazing team win from Eclipsar. The communication on those Gene pulls was fantastic, but we're going to be going into set number 4 here. Eclipsar still needs to win this to bring it to a set 5. Heretics is going to be looking to close them out on Gold Arm Gulch. We're going to see the bands coming in: Kit, Meeple, Daryl, Angelo, Lumi, and Gene, and Eclipsar is going to once again lock in a first pick Buster here.
Buster is really good brawler, especially on this map, so it makes sense that they go for it here. Considering the bans though, what do you think are options for Team Heretics here, Duncan?
I would not be super surprised. I mean, Mandy is obviously going to be more of a ranged option. I don't really see them going that into the Buster, especially with that shield availability. I think we could definitely see some throwers come down here. Potentially Juju would be the one that I would keep my eye on. Obviously, brawlers like Piper are pretty much always going to be in the picture in Gold Arm Gulch, but this is a map where you can kind of pull out a lot of like less meta brawlers. I've seen a lot of Otis on this map. I've seen Bo on this map perform very well. So I feel like Heretics kind of could hit us with anything here. Wouldn't be surprised to see anything.
And surprised that we don't have, okay, we do have the Gray and the Ollie coming out. I like these picks here for obvious reasons. Gray is just great for the pulls and the portals to get in and out whenever required. The Ollie is just so great for the hypnosis. You jump in with your super, you use the gadget, pull in and hypnotize enemies towards your team and just get like either a team wipe or maybe a single lone kill. But this Buster is such a great pick because if you're not really aware of your surroundings, Buster can just, you know, snatch you up with that one little pull from the gadget.
Especially in high level gameplay like this, you see in Knockout a lot of the pro teams are kind of sitting together, just charging the Buster super, charging his hypercharge for free pretty much. So even if he doesn't get a single shot off, he could still end up with that hypercharge at the end of the round. That can be so impactful. I'm very curious how the Ollie is going to approach this. I feel like it's probably going to be more of an end of the game dive type situation. Try to get all three of the players stunned at once. And I'm curious if Eclipsar is going to go anything that can kind of knock him back to kind of deal with that situation. It looks like they are not. They're going to be going with a Squeak and with a Max. So once again, we see this Max Buster combination, one of the most broken combos in Brawl Stars at the moment, coming into play. Just giving that tank that extra speed can be so impactful. And then Squeak, who we know is a very, very broken brawler, especially when that gas comes in at the end of the round in Knockout. You can get that 4K gadget, and then you can also use that super in a low area, pretty much guaranteed to hit. Heretics is going to finish off their draft with a Gus. Could be very useful to give the Ollie that shield or to save the Gray if he needs it. So I like, honestly, the comps from both teams coming in here, and I feel like if Heretics is going to win this, it is going to kind of be on the Ollie's back.
That is, I think that might makes a lot of sense here. I mean, you obviously know a lot more about ranked and draft than I do. So I think I defer to your expertise on this specific matter, but it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out. The aggression coming in from Eclipsar is something that I'm going to be worried for Team Heretics about, but I like the overall composition from Team Heretics. It has a lot of merit, and I can understand the vision.
Yep, 100%. I feel like for Team Heretics to come out on top of this, a Kooky Popper kill kind of early in the round, specifically onto Marco or Don, might be a little bit necessary. We'll see how they go with that, but I do like Eclipsar's comp as far as the end game goes a little bit more, so I wouldn't be shocked to see Heretics getting a little bit more aggressive with the Gray Hooks, with the Gus Kooky Poppers.
Indeed, and already good control coming in from Team Heretics, but I feel like control at this point really doesn't matter. Ooh, nice walking K by Drage. Almost gets taken out by the Squeak on the other side. Gadget coming in for Squeak, not able to really find a mark here, and I feel like the name of the game is just farming your utilities, trying to get that super, which C7 has got online at this point, and that's going to be playing into what ECP have for the game plan right now, in fact. And super coming in from Marco, they get sped up. C7 also has a hypercharge as well. Drage with his own super on the other end as you go into the dying seconds here.
Yeah, but looks like the gas is coming in fully right now. C7 is going to pop his Buster hypercharge. The Squeak super wasn't able to do a whole lot. C7's going to be weak here. Drage teleports in, gets the kill, and it looks like Heretics are going to come out on top of this, even with the missed shield from Chaos. Drage actually did a fantastic job teleporting behind the Buster to be able to kill him through his teammates. Fantastically played on the Gray from Drage. And honestly, that was made possible by him hitting so many shots in the beginning of the game with those walking canes to get that super online. And you see he has a hypercharge ready to go for this round. Marco has his speed as well with C7's shield. So I'm curious to see if Eclipsar is going to try to make a play earlier rather than later here after that, the way that first round ended.
Indeed, and I was surprised by how well they neutralized the Buster. Speed coming in once more from Marco. Marco, C7 have the super online as well, but not really able to make any dents here. I feel like that wall break by Drage earlier on was definitely one of the reasons as to why they aren't as threatening with their composition now, since the map has opened up considerably so. Though Drage has hypercharge in his arsenal, but C7 does as well.
Yep, we've seen Don hit some fantastic shots with the Squeak long-range gadget, getting that extra damage in on Drage. But as you can see, like, the area where Heretics is sitting is kind of the perfect size for his Squeak shot. Drage is going to be trying to do something about that. The Squeak super comes in, but the smoke is going to be closing down. Buster with the super and the hypercharge ready to go. He's going to be popping that right now, blocking off more or less the entire map, pulling Lanad as well. And it looks like Eclipsar is going to come out on top of this one. Drade's not going to waste his teleporter. Probably a smart choice from him. But we're going to be going into round 3, 1-1 right now on the board, Panda, as Eclipsar tries to make a sneaky play potentially up the right side of the map.
I honestly thought that Luna was going to be able to hypnotize all through them. Nice pull coming in. C7 gets taken out. The lynchment of the Eclipsar comp. And now it is actually Team Heretics' turn to, chance to lose this, because now Luna going to go in. He jumps in with, he gets a double hypnosis and a complete kill. Eclipsar are going to be taken out. Match point for Team Heretics.
I got a question why Eclipsar wanted to go for that sneaky right lane strategy after winning in round 2. I feel like they kind of had the method built out, get that Buster Super, and then go in at the very end, but they wanted to get a little bit too cute with it. Drake was able to hit the pull of the Sentry to be able to counter out that whole thing, and then they just played fantastically as a team to be able to pick off Eclipsar one by one. Now we're going to see Heretics moving into match point. We got to see if they switch up the strategy again. I would expect them to probably play a little bit more passive on the left side, but it looks like Heretics is trying to switch it up now.
Indeed, Drage with the wiggles against Marco, moving up so aggressively, just trying to farm his super here. Still managing to dodge Marco the most of the time here. D7 has his super here finally, but they are very cognizant of the fact that he's there. They don't want to be over aggressive. Nice pull coming in from Drage. Their speed from Marco, but just because of that one pull, he's completely nullified that possible aggressive opportunity for Eclipsar.
Yeah, he was trying to give it to his teammates, and Drage physically pulled him away. So fantastic hook from Drage. Like I said, he's been hitting all of these hooks. It's been fantastic for him and his team. And it looks like they're going to be pretty much completely dominating this mid control. Don is doing what he can to block that. C7 blocks the Drage hook there too. Well played to him to keep his wall up alive. Oh no. There. Oh no. And that's Seems the worst possible timing.
That was terrible. We are on match point. And I feel like that's also round point, right?
That was the first round of game number 2 of that. Okay, looks like we're back. Looks like Heretics did manage to come out on top right there. Marco's going to be using the speed to try and get them an early round 2 advantage here. But if Team Heretics is able to win this, that is going to be the end of our match today. Heretics is going to win 3-1. So we've got to see Eclipsar with their back up against the wall. What are they going to be able to do? Will they be able to get C7 that hypercharge and make some crazy plays? Marco's got his hypercharge online. It looks like they might be pushing here. Oh my goodness, Drage hit the pull. He hit the pull teleport combo. Absolutely insane. Have not seen that yet. Crazy stuff going down from Drage. Such a high skill cap play from his Gray right there. And that is going to give them a massive, massive advantage here. This is Team Heretics' game to lose, Panda.
Yeah. Drage, Drage fans right now are eating good tonight for sure. Nice pull coming once more. He's been hitting those pulls, man. It's not really that easy to hit those pulls either, so it's kind of crazy. He's been so consistent. There's a nice super coming in. Super from Lana. He should get the hypnosis off. He's able to get it onto one. C7 is the only one alive on his team, but he's going to be thoroughly addressed here, and that is it. It is done. It is dusted. Team Heretics with a 3-1 against Eclipsar Esports here.
Absolutely insane finish there. That was probably the play of the whole league play that we've seen so far from Drage. Hitting that pull teleport combo is such a high skill cap move, and it was just absolutely beautiful to see him play it off there. Eclipsar did what they could once it was a 2v3, but obviously going to have their backs up against the wall. Heretics cleans up nice and smooth, and glad that we didn't have to see another sweep here, but Heretics does come out on top after starting off pretty slow yesterday. Very happy to see them get a win on the board.
Yeah, congratulations to Team Heretics. Definitely earned that one. I would say Eclipsar also played it really well, except maybe there were some inefficiencies in the Gold Arm Golf set. Team Heretics, though, I think that they're back in form. When they get an even draft, they're kind of impossible to beat, it seems. You don't have as many team misplays happening as much as you did in the recent past. So I think they've addressed a lot of the criticisms that people have of them. So congratulations to Team Heretics. I'm quite confident with how they're playing. Wouldn't be surprised to see both these teams, actually face each other in the grand finals of the monthly finals. That was beautiful.
That was awesome, man. You gotta love to see it. Definitely Heretics gets a little bit of slander for choking sometimes, so love to see them pulling it out when they have the advantage and not end up slipping up a little bit. I mean, I'm just still dumbfounded by that great play from Drage. He definitely was stepping up to the plate in the biggest moment, and you love to see your best players shine like that. So absolutely insane work from him and the team Heretics as a whole. We saw some pop-offs from Lanan on the Carl. We saw that pop-off from Drage on the Gray. So definitely love to see everybody getting their chance to shine. Absolutely beautiful stuff. Can't wait to see what they have to offer tomorrow as well.
Yep, and we're going to take a small break of about 3 minutes, but The next match is going to be Reverso Gaming versus Humble. So we'll take our break now and we'll see you in about 3 minutes. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to OWN Valencia Masters. I am your host, Pedicast, joined by the amazing Duncan. It is match day number 2. We have finished 50% of our matches today. We did see Ping Abusers take a 3-0 win against Inner Circle. Then we did see Team Heretics take a 3-1 win against Eclipse, our esport. Now we have Reverso Gaming against Humble. The last fortnight wasn't a great one for Reverso because they've been taking L's across the board, right, in a lot of tournaments. But that's not to say that Reverso is a team that can easily be walked over. Most of the games have been close calls with the scorelines not really doing justice to how it's all been going down. Unfortunately for them, they're going to be facing a very strong team. Maybe you've heard of them. I don't know, Humble or something. That's what they've been called. But they've been on a hot streak lately.
100%. I'm definitely looking forward to this one. Reverso is going to have their work cut out for them, but if anybody can do it, it's them. Humble is going to be the favorite in this match 100%, but it looks like we're getting into our first map of the day for these two teams on Gem Grab Last Stop. We're going to see Stu, Lumi, Carl, Buster, Max, and Stu double band right there. Humble does grab the Gene with the first pick. Not super surprising to see there. Obviously, with that pull, you can change the game in such a quick amount of time, and with the amount of grass on this, you're going to be able to scout very, very well for your teammates with that vision gear. Reverso is going to be looking for some decent vision brawlers of their own, though, with the Lola and with the Otis. Pretty much two tank counter brawlers that kind of have a decent amount of spray. So paired with that vision gear, it's going to help out your team so much. And I feel like these are two picks that you don't see as often in the game in general, but for a map like this specifically, it makes a ton of sense to me why Reverso would lock in these two lanes.
Yeah, and there still is a B in question, which Reverso can take as their last pick. We have Squeak coming out along with the Janet. I feel like the Janet really addresses the Lola quite effectively. Squeak is, I think, a good answer for lane decisions here, but Squeak obviously has to go for a lane which isn't as aggressive as the other lanes, so I don't know if I completely agree with the Humble composition so far, but it really depends on what Reverso decide to pick up as their last brawler here.
I feel like they're assuming that Reverso is going to lock in a lane because they are a little bit susceptible to aggro right now. So if Reverso does choose to go a little bit more aggressive, which they end up deciding with a Melody, so they'll likely have the Lola in the mid, I would have to guess here. So definitely a little bit more of an unconventional comp from Reverso, but if I'm just looking at these matchups, I don't hate the comp at all. I think that unless the Squeak goes absolutely crazy, like hitting all of his shots on his lane, it might be a little bit difficult for him to win that, and I'm going to be expecting a big play from the Gene at some point.
Yeah, I mean, classically, if you think about it as well, Lola, when it first came out, was quite meta with the freeze frame gadget on maps like Hard Rock Mine. So the fact that you can just keep it down, put the freeze frame, be in front of you to actually tank shots, it's a pretty good shot, especially since the Gene is on the other side. And Luki already getting a kill on Nez at the very beginning. Humble have a very dominant start with a 3-0 lead.
Absolutely, and it looks like the Lola mid isn't going too hot so far. Luki is just holding down the vision so well right now for his teammates. Boss is pretty much able to win his lane easily with this amount of vision that Luki is providing to the team. And Andi is going to be fully pushed back. The Vengeful Spirit's getting so much value there, and the pull coming in. Luki is absolutely popping off on this Gene right now. Semantic has not even really had any smoke on his lane as of right now. Luki's just going to be keeping that vision, letting his teammates get back in there. Boss already has a fly online, and this game is going very smooth for Humble so far, Panda.
Ooh, Boss gets a kill and immediately takes flight, and I agree. It's just crazy how dominant Humble have been, but now two members of Humble... Wait, Semantic getting the kill on Inez. I have never seen a Melody being able to come out of that interaction dead.
That was a crazy play from Semantic to keep himself alive. He almost got a kill onto Andi as well. He was able to save himself with the healing from his Lola ego, actually. So definitely well played to Andi to survive that interaction. But these Vengeful Spirits are getting crazy value on Luki's end. Andy's got another pull online. He's going to have to back off from the Otis Fat Splatter. But so far, it looks like Humble just needs to kind of wait for the two gems to spawn on their side, and they should be able to walk away with this one. But there we go. Reverso is finally starting to make a stand for themselves, and they're going to juke out of the pole. Luki maybe went from a little bit too deep on that, and Reverso is going to be kind of evening up the gem count right here.
Indeed, we see a small lane swap coming in. Hypercharge being popped by Luki. Must be close to Super, or maybe he just wanted to create room for his teammates. Either way, Humble still haven't managed to get back in the mid of things. And Nez is going to be a huge thing to look at. He goes for the Hypercharge as well. Is able to get one. Is able to get two. He's able to get two people here, but Boss is going to be taking flight here. And he completely nullifies that aggression coming in from Reverso. Great shot for Boss.
There's two gems there still sitting there, so they might end up with 9. Andi is getting a little bit aggressive, and he's going to go down there. Luki is going to be walking away with 9. Obviously, the one of this is going to be sitting on Boss, but Boss just did such a great job with that hypercharge. But we are likely going to be seeing the gems get tied up here. Luki is kind of waiting to see if he can pull that, and he is going to miss. So we are going to be going 10-10 right now with the first gem spawning on the side of Humble. And the Vengeful Spirit blocked by the Lola Ego as well. DA's in a horrible position right here with Semantic in his face, and he's going to be able to outplay him there. Crazy stuff from DA's Otis, and it looks like Humble might not walk away with this as easily as we had originally thought.
That was kind of crazy. To outplay Semantic on lane like that, it's kind of insane. Now Semantic is going to go in. He is there for blood.
Wow.
Gets a kill on a day. Lukey finds Audi, and it is a complete wipe from Humble against Reverso. Nez does have a super, but gets taken out by Semantic. Semantic with a hypercharge. Purple button online, and Humble are able to completely blitz Reverso with 2 seconds to spare.
That was an absolutely crazy finish. You could just see every single different player kind of pulled out a different play to keep that game competitive. There was so much going on, so much dropping of the gems there. After Melody went in, I thought that Reverso might be able to get away with the win there, but well played by Humble to keep their composure. After losing that one interaction to DA's Otis, Semantic did bounce back and make the big play that mattered. Lukey obviously missed that one pull and said never again, so I'm expecting another big performance from them. We'll see if Reverso can get a little bit better of a start though, because they were down like 6 gems to 0 and they were still able to make that a very, very competitive game.
Ooh, Nez being so aggressive, getting out of the grass so often here, but Semantic able to address him. On the other side, though, Boss going down is going to ensure that Lukey has to go back and regen a little bit. That is a good play by Data, completely open up this right-hand flank, but Boss is going to be back into the thick of things and is not able to address Day on this right lane. It is a little bit of a stalemate in the mid. With Nez going down, though, it's going to be helping out Humble for sure as Day also falls.
Semantic is doing a fantastic job in a matchup that isn't really the greatest for him, but he's holding it down onto the Nez's Melody right now and just allowing Lukey to have so much free reign in the middle. Obviously with these Vengeful Spirits as well doing so much work, but Nez is finally going to make a play up there. He does go down, so there's so many gems on the floor right now. About 9 gems on the floor right now, I think. We'll see how many Boss tries to get away with. It looks like he's not going to get too greedy.
Oh
he's
my
gonna
god!
grab 2 and get out, but the Squeak Hypercharge does so much work. Lukey hits a pull here. And there are 3 gems sitting right there. If they're able to grab those, that would start the countdown, but likely not going to over-aggress at this point in the game. They'll just take their time as we do get cut out from the stream for a second. But I expect Humble is probably going to be grabbing a 10th one soon and starting this countdown.
Yeah, we apologize for a little bit of the spectator issues. Apparently, our spectator count is crashing a lot, so that is a bit unfortunate. But, I mean, it seemed like Humble had that in the bag. It seemed like they had everything figured out, and there didn't seem to be a good response from Reverso. We did see a Reverso getting their hypercharges, especially Nez on the Melody. They did get a complete team wipe in the first game, but I feel like Melody hasn't made as much of an impact as I would have liked. So maybe Reverso can change up their game plan, but it's kind of crazy how dominant Humble have been, especially just whenever you see Reverso getting 1 or 2 kills, they aren't able to capitalize because Humble is there with their last member, just completely pushing them back and keeping them at bay.
Yeah, I think that they are probably going to be relying on another play like that from Nez in order to be able to get away with some of these gems here. But Humble has fought through the adversity of this set so far. Obviously, there's been a ton of gem carrier deaths causing a whole lot of chaos on the map, but they've just always been able to come out on top of those interactions with the help of all of their different players' utilities, especially those gene pools, especially Semantic. And it looks like Humble won, if I am seeing correctly. So we're going to see Humble win that first set 2-0, and they're going to have a 1-0 lead over Reverso Gaming right now. The favorites are on top, Panda.
Yeah, I mean, they're overwhelming favorites, but I have to mention that Reverso aren't playing it bad. It's just that Humble are just playing it so much better. And there is this insane amount of team coordination, and the fact that Humble are able to, I guess the lanes in Humble, both Boss and Semantic, are probably one of the best engagers when it comes to Brawl Stars. So the fact that they're able to address their opponents on the other lane and go after the mid of the other team consistently is just gives a lot of confidence in Humble, for me at least. In the second set, I think Reverso have to pick up the slack, but I think that Humble are looking really strong right now.
Humble is looking very, very strong right now, and I'm definitely excited to see, though, because that was a pretty back-and-forth game, so I definitely am not going to count Reverso out yet, especially going into pit stop right here for match number 2. Should be pretty crazy, honestly. Obviously, Heist is a pretty absurd meta just in general, especially pit stop with the amount of like tanky brawlers you can play. Even Edgar has worked his way into the pit stop meta, so we could be seeing some crazy brawlers go off the board right here. I'm very excited to see some pit stop chaos. Maybe that will end up benefiting Reverso.
You know what's funny about pit stop is that you wouldn't guess which guess which are the top 2 most used brawlers in pit stop and EMEA. You wouldn't guess, I'm pretty sure.
Is Edgar one?
Okay, you guessed it.
Let me Edgar and Bull.
No, it's actually Edgar and Cordelius. I like it. I like it a lot.
Okay, I'll take it. I was thinking Charlie too is my other sleeper pick, but that's interesting.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
feel
it's a
like
crazy map, man.
I feel like flavors of East Asia are permeating through the ether and going to different regions because we have Shade also coming into its own and being picked up quite
Mhm.
often on Pit Stop, and I think we're going to be going into our draft very soon. But uh, I feel like the name of the game is a lot of aggression and the ability to get onto the safe. I feel like in maps like, for example, Safe Zone and Pit Stop, getting onto the objective is probably the hardest part. So if you have brawlers that can get there, probably a good
Yep, and
reason to
we're going to
pick
be
them up.
seeing a lot of those brawlers that can get there get banned out. We see Edgar, Barry, Cordelius, Dynamite, and Buzz banned, so a good amount of throwers out of the picture. And then we have our 2 dive brawlers with Edgar and Buzz being out of the picture as well. I believe this is the first time we have seen Lumi escape ban, so curious if she'll end up making her first appearance in this event today, but probably not. Don't have my fingers crossed here. Obviously, the pit stop meta is just so different from every other map in the game. Definitely expecting to see some high HP, high safe damage brawlers, and Reverso is going to prove me right with a Melody off rip here. Definitely makes a lot of sense to me, Panda.
Yeah, Melody is able to get on to the point very easily. Why did we not realize that Lumi
There we
is...
go. The first time.
We're going to finally see Lumi coming in competitive here. It's going to be picked up by Humble, and they go for the Carl. So I got to mention that everybody bans out Lumi. The fact that it wasn't first picked by Reverso when it was open was kind of crazy. And I feel like I slept on that, so my bad.
All good, all good. That's definitely crazy to see the Lumi come down. She doesn't have the greatest safe damage in the world, but if you leave her unattended, she can do a ton of work, and then she's just so great for positioning, especially on a map like Pit Stop with this many choke points. That gadget, that's basically 2 mini loose supers with the ice rinks. It's just absolutely ridiculous for holding down that positioning. The Carl makes a lot of sense as far as damage goes, as well as control, but we're going to see Reverso pretty much capping off their draft with a full aggro draft here. They're going to go Melody, Shade, and Bull, so absolutely crazy stuff coming in from Reverso. I'm curious if Humble is going to go for some safe damage of their own, or if they're just going to focus more on playing defense here with maybe a brawler like Charlie.
I think that Charlie makes a lot of sense. It kind of satisfies the same Cordelius pick. I feel like you can shut down Charging Bull or a Charging Melody. So the Charlie is definitely one of the options I would look for. But they go for the Hank instead. So
Interesting.
that is interesting because I feel like you're going to be hugging the wall a lot as Shade. And Hank de-incentivizes that quite effectively. So I'm not really sure as to which comp is better. I feel like it's Humble.
I'm very curious. I think if this game lasts longer than a minute, I got my money on Humble. But if Reverso is able to get like 1 or 2 kills in the first interaction, then they could end this in a blink of an eye with the comp that they've got here.
That's true. They have a really good dive composition. They could just completely ignore the entirety of the other team here. As we go into our first game off the second set, Humble took set number 1 and are looking to extend that lead. But Reverso have a lot to say.
Yep, I'm very curious to see how exactly aggressive Reverso is going to go here. It looks like Bull is on a line drive for the safe, and Nez is going to be helping him out as well. They're going to get a good amount of damage in there, but not really a whole lot over the amount that Lukey was able to get on the Carl on the side of Humble. So, I mean, definitely a pretty even matchup so far. We're going to see Humble establish a little bit of positioning here, and Semantic might even be able to get onto the safe with the Hank Super. Going to do so much damage, and they've already got the safe below 50%. As boss, as Lumi is going to be able to come up here, get the ice rings down. DA is going to be trying to deal with that, but right now, that Hank Super did so much more than I was expecting right there. So absolutely a fantastic pick there, it looks like. Well played by Andi to get that kill, though.
Boss is going to be able to clean that up because he got the kill in a day, and then it was basically free for him. And we know how fast Lumi's damage can rack up once you get on the safe. If you have low ping, it's basically over. And that's what happened. Humble are now 1 up in this set here, Duncan.
Yep, I feel like the way to look at leaving Lumi on the safe is similar to the way that you should treat leaving a Carl on the safe, where you just have to wait for as long as it takes for your shots to come back to you, and you can just keep spamming them out. But Lumi more or less is double Carl with the way her attack works, so definitely a brawler you can't afford to leave on the safe. You gotta wonder if Reverso maybe has not scrimmed against too much Lumi on this map before and maybe expected to be able to get away with that a little bit better than they did. But Nez is going to be trying to get his damage in right now. Semantic's playing a good amount of defense, and it looks like we're going to see 2 pretty aggressive pushes get shut down by both teams' defense.
Indeed, it is only a 3% disparity. Day going up pretty aggressively, and Semantic doesn't really get the kill there. Semantic can also, you know, angle with Day, so it doesn't really have to be all that worried. Ness getting the kill in a boss is going to be huge. He's going to be able to go onto the safe unabated. Now, Semantic going to be on defensive duty against Day itself. Gets taken out. Nez is going to fall, and it's going to be a slight lead for the side of Reverso, as Humble are trying to get back on the map here. They are 4% behind.
That was some fantastic damage from Nez, but really not as much as they might have been hoping for there. I mean, considering that is pretty much the entire point of Melody, but it still couldn't out-damage the Hank on the safe. Kind of crazy stuff to see, especially as Lukey is going to clean up with this hypercharge, get the safe on fire, might even have another fire gadget ready for it, but DA is going to clean that up. But we're going to see the Reverso safe falling below 50% as Semantic maybe is going to try to get back on. Not going to work out as well for him, and now we're going to have to see Humble play some good defense onto the hypercharge Melody.
Ooh, they are able to nullify that. That was definitely what the doctor ordered. Auntie going in, but gets taken out by Boss. Is this so good? He's indomitable on his lane there. The 20% lead for Humble. They have control. There is a fire charge being used, and Nez going to be taken out. Maybe. No, he gets the kill instead. Is very low, though, but should go for the safe. On the other side, though, Boss gets a kill on Andi, and Day is going to be very low against Boss.
Boss is just having such an easy time defending anybody he wants to defend here. Lumi is such an easy brawler to play, and Boss is definitely making it look even easier than that, but he is popping off on this new brawler. You gotta wonder why Reverso left that open, especially when they did have the first pick and didn't even take her. And that Carl gadget is likely going to end the game, very least bring it to within 1%. Reverso has their back up against the walls quite significantly here. I'd be shocked to see them get away with this one.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I feel like it's already chalked. It's basically done. Semantic's playing with its food over
trolling.
there. And that is going to be Humble taking the second straight game here and their second set against Reverso. I have to mention that this is, I feel like, a combination of mistakes on the draft by both teams, because we had Reverso getting the first pick, right? Why did Humble not ban out Lumi from the start, right? Because if it's open, then Reverso should take it. And Reverso didn't take it. It was still open. And then Humble was like, wait, Lumi's open. Let's take it. So I feel like it was a lapse in judgment by all the teams concerned. But, you know, Humble were like, okay, maybe the Lumi is going to work out here. And they went for it. And they played it to perfection. I feel like Boss was just so underdressed repeatedly. Semantic, I felt like on his... Hank didn't do all that much, but we did see him once get across the map and hit his super on the save, which did a lot of damage. But overall, I feel bad for Reverso how this is going.
The way that Lumi was handled in that draft had me questioning everything I knew about Brawl Stars, because I'm just so used to seeing her banned out so frequently, and the fact that she didn't even get picked with that first pick, I said, maybe I'm overrating Lumi, and then we got into the game and I realized I was right all along. You cannot let the other team get Lumi under any situation, even on a map like Pit Stop that does tend to be a little bit crazier. It's just... you cannot let the best brawler in the game get into the hands of your enemies, especially when it's a great player like Boss who's going to be manning her. So, well played to Humble to kind of set up the trap for themselves there. Not really too sure if that's what they were going for, but the over-aggression of Reverso's comp did not end up helping them out at all, really.
Yeah, for sure. And now Reverso are staring the barrel off a gun as we go into set number 3 on Super Beach. Our draft is going to be in. We are going to see Poco, Carl, Finks, Lumi, B, and Poco being banned out. So people remembered, oh yeah, Lumi exists, so the band's back with Lumi.
I'm very happy to see a Lumi ban after how easily she was able to carry that last game. But we're going to be seeing a Stu come out first for Reverso Gaming. Definitely a pretty standard pick here, especially with a Carl ban. I feel like Stu and Carl have been our very common early picks, as well as B when she's not banned. But Stu is going to be coming out for Reverso Gaming. Humble will have 2 chances to counter here. Curious what they go for. Ollie is still available with the Poco banned out as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see an Ollie get into play since there's nothing really to counter out his stun abilities there. So maybe we'll be seeing an Ollie as well as something like a Max perhaps, or a Buster maybe even as some of the better tank options on this map.
I'm just gonna go on an aside here. So I like Ollie. I feel like he needs to have a boxer skin called Muhammad Ali, because that would be just be too funny. I mean, I'm sorry about that.
I would buy it. I would 100% buy it.
Anyway,
looks like Humble's taking their sweet time on the draft here, though. I gotta be curious what they're cooking here. I feel like a Max comp could also work out as well, but we haven't seen much Chester today. Low-key kind of forgot about him, but a extremely sturdy tank counter, especially when you take away the Ashe as well, who is one of the tanks that is able to deal with him with the rats a little bit. So they take a very aggressive tank with the Ashe, as well as probably the most sturdy tank counter outside of B right now. So definitely definitely a pretty solid 2-3 from Humble. Excited to see what they're cooking with that. And I feel like Reverso is probably going to have to take a Buster or an Ollie as their tank option in order to like kind of pierce through those rats. But very curious what Reverso is going to cook up here. I feel like Humble's 2-3 is extremely solid.
Yeah, I have to mention that they've taken the counter and they've taken the anti-counter as well. And I feel like the only real options that they have are Buster and maybe the Frank as well. Both of these are really great
Frank,
shouts
yeah.
here. Frank can open up the wall, so if you take the Frank along with something like a mid to long range option like an Ollie, it would probably satisfy what they're going up against and what they could possibly go up against in Reverso. Going to go with a Dynamite and a Jackie. I think Jackie does do decently against an Ashe if given support, but I don't know if I agree with this Reverso composition.
I don't hate it. I don't hate the Jackie into the Ashe. I'm not a fan of the Jackie into the Chester, of course, but maybe they're counting on the Dynamite to be able to kind of carry that lane for them. I think that Dynamite is obviously a very hit or miss brawler. If you're able to pop off, hit those stuns, hit those supers, then you're going to be able to carry pretty easily. I do like having the wall break for a potential goal scoring situation too, but we're going to see Humble kind of counter out the mic with a Max right there. Going to be able to give his team speed and just kind of absolutely just juke out of some of these Dynamite shots. So it's going to be a tall task for the mic to hit as many shots as he's going to need to be able to make a significant impact in this game. But I definitely think I like Humble's comp a little bit better so far, Panda.
Yeah, I think it's much more clean. It has all of the well-roundedness that a composition like this presents. The only issue I would say is probably the gadget from Dynamite, but let's see if that can actually pay dividends, as Ness already being taken out by Lukey, and now Day being forced out of his position, but finds a kill on the boss, and is passed the ball by Andy. Semantic might be falling. He does, and there's a goal by Reverso. Within 20 seconds, they've completely undone Humble.
Did not expect that at all, especially considering how quickly Lukey dealt with Nez in the mid there. I thought they were probably going to be able to get a shot of themselves, but it looks like Boss overextended, trying to get the goal, but Lukey's going for it here. Nez is going to be able to make the dash save on the Stu. Fantastically played from Nez. That was looking pretty scary, but DA's in a power position with his Dynamite super, and they might even be able to slot it in here with the Jackie, and they do. So it looks like we might have been sleeping on the Jackie. I'm going to have to apologize to Bobby and Semantic as well. I know they are big Jackie glazers in this meta as well. But maybe the Jackie is the answer into the Ashe that we were looking for all this time, Panda.
That was clean, bro. I don't even know what happened to Humble. They just completely got wrecked in that first game. Maybe they have some strategy going into the second one, but very well played by Reverso. Clean games.
DA is going to be hitting that first stun too, but it looks like they might not have enough. They are going to have enough to deal with Lukey. Lukey's been making these aggressive plays, trying to get these early goals, and it's kind of been biting them in the butt right now. We are going to cut away for a sec, but Reverso was clearly going to score a goal there and take a 1-0 lead. So it looks like they are definitely getting the type of gameplay that they needed in order to put up a fair fight against Humble. It's looking like this Brawl Ball set is definitely Reverso's to lose at this point.
Yeah, unfortunately we have to cut out, but we did see Reverso taking the first goal in this second game on the third set, so it's looking good for them. I would like to see how Humble responds, but once we get the feed back for you guys, we can let you know. But once again, apologies for what's happening right now, I guess.
I've just got to say, I'm impressed with the Dynamite plays I've been seeing so far. The amount of stuns that I've seen hit onto Ashe, who obviously is a very high movement speed brawler, it's just been very impressive. And you love to see when a brawler like that, like a fun brawler who you don't get to see too often in competitive, gets played and is actually able to shine. So you absolutely love that. Shout out to the Dynamite. I believe it was DA, but he's playing fantastic Brawl Stars.
Yeah, I have to mention, like, Lukey was going very aggressively with the Max, and he was getting the better of his interactions against the Stu in the mid, which is not that easy to do as a task, and he pressured the Dynamic in a very bad positioning for the Dynamic itself, but Day was not phased in the slightest, was able to get the kill on a boss, was able to get push Semantic out of the point. So I gotta say, like, completely as a team, they did play pretty well. The Stu was a little underwhelming as a brawler because Lukey was able to get a bit shicey and a little stylish with it, but you know, at the end of the day, I gotta say, like, when one member of Reverso doesn't really do as much, you see the other two picking up for the slack. So well played from Reverso Gaming.
100%. They were playing together as a team so well, especially with that early pressure that Lukey was putting down. And we are going to see the results of our set number 3. Reverso does come out on top 2-0 right there. So they're going to be taking a 1-2 set deficit overall today, they are definitely going to be able to push them into a set number 4, maybe potentially a set number 5, but excited they were able to get a set under their belts. Hopefully they'll be able to keep it going on our next map, which is hideouts.
Hideout.
So that should be pretty intense, getting some bounty action in there. Excited to see if Reverso is going to be able to capitalize on that momentum from that crazy Dynamite pick, and it actually worked out.
Yeah, I mean, I doubted them. I'll be honest. I was the first person to doubt them. Like, after I saw the draft, I was like, I resigned myself to seeing a 3-0 by Humble, but I am the first person to say, like, if teams can prove me wrong, go for it, because I would love to see it, because it just adds more spice, you know, a little bit of Cajun seasoning or whatever to your nuggets. So I'm here for it.
That's awesome stuff. You love to see, like, when a team with their back against the walls pulls out like an old favorite brawler that you might not expect to see in that situation. That's exactly what they did, and it worked out. So now I'm looking forward to Hideout. Maybe they've got another trick up their sleeve. Probably not the Dynamite again, but I mean, you never know what brawler they could pull out here. With 90 brawlers in the game, there's always a play for a specific situation. So super excited to see if Reverso goes with a little bit more of a wild comp, or if they're just going to try to play into the meta the same way that Humble typically does. But either way, we've got a ton of options here, and if they're able to win this Hideout, then it's anybody's game in set number 5. Humble could fall.
Yeah, I mean, that is certainly a prospect here, and I think that, like, I keep mentioning this over and over again because a lot of people may not be tuned to the EMEA's esports scene as much as we are. Reverso is a team that you can't really underestimate, and if you do, they're going to completely like wipe you off the map. So we're gonna go into set number 3 here, Hideout. The bans are in. They're gonna be Buster, Byron, Max, Gray Jean, and the Lumi ban. So first pick, I think, is definitely going to go to Reverso Gaming here. And looking at some of the meta picks, we have, I was going to say Angelo. So Angelo's going to be picked up first by Reverso. It makes a lot of sense in a map like this. You have the fact that you can pierce through walls, the fact that you can jump away. You have Jean as well, but Jean has been banned out. Gray is another option as well, has been banned out because of the pull. You don't want to be pulled through the wall. So I feel like this is just making a stand for Juju to really come into her own, because you have a lot of the major brawlers that can address Juju out of the situation and the equation.
Wouldn't be surprised to see that at all. I think Juju is probably the best thrower in the game right now, especially on a map like Hideout, where you can take advantage of this grass and these walls. But Humble is going to be taking a Bell and a Leon, which is a little bit surprising seeing the Bell go off this early, considering Piper and Mandy still were on the board as some of the typically stronger snipers. Maybe they're a little bit worried about a more aggressive comp coming in from Reverso, especially after that Jackie Dynamite that they just had to go against. But the Leon's a brawler we don't see as often anymore, and last time we did see Leon on this map, I believe, he was kind of getting bullied a little bit. So we'll see if they're able to play it a little bit better than the last team who played him. Either way, though, he could definitely make a last-second play with a Leon Hypercharge to be able to kind of secure that game. And then obviously with the Bell, if they're able to get that blue star with maybe the Leon kind of pushing up pretty aggressive into the middle, then those Bell traps are going to get so much value. But there are still so many snipers on the board. Maybe they were just counting on Reverso not doubling up on the snipers since they already have the Angelo. And I wouldn't be shocked to see maybe a Piper come off the board at the end of this draft. Looks like Reverso is going to be taking a tank counter in the Pearl, and then kind of a hybrid support assassin brawler with the Cat. So very interested to see the Cat here. I'm not even too sure which of her teammates back he's going to hop onto, but it's definitely a pretty out there pick, Panda. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I understand Pearl. The Cat makes a little bit of sense here, but I feel like the Cat's going to be jumping on the Pearl for sure, because once you get your heat up and you have the kit healing, you will probably have a lot more survivability. But in those situations, you're gonna have the Mark coming in from the Bell to address it. So I don't know if I agree with Reverso's pick here, but the Finks is gonna be coming out from Humble, and we saw how good Finks was with iChaos and Pinhole Punt earlier today. So I like this draft from Humble a lot, but I feel like the wildcard picks from Reverso might be the reason why they're able to do so well, because they catch a lot of these teams off guard.
I think a lot of this game is going to come down to how well the Angelo can hit those pierce shots. Once he gets that 4,000 damage loaded up on his arrow, and he's able to hit the pierce gadget, it can go for so many cheeky kills here. I think Nez is going to kind of have to carry in the kills department at least. DA and Andy are going to be kind of holding it down on the left side right here, but overall too, I really do like the Finks pick into the cat, because when the cat jumps on Finks, you can hit that gadget, teleport to where you were 3 seconds ago, and a lot of the times that is enough to escape it. So it's definitely a high skill cat maneuver, but I wouldn't be surprised if Semantic was able to pull that off at some point this game.
Blue Star with Humble, and right now it's just about marinating, just trying to get your super up, and Andy already does as a result of the mechanic where you get your super by just existing here. Though it's a little bit of a stalemate here, neither team really making any kind of aggressive move.
Yep, and I'm not surprised to see Humble get away with the blue star. I feel like that was a lot of the reason for picking the Leon, but Andy's starting to go aggressive onto Semantic here. He will be jumping on DA's back, but they are taking so much fire. Humble is focusing them so well, and they're going to have to give up on that push right there. So it's going to remain 1-0 in the favor of Humble as we get cut out again. That is devastating. Oh my goodness, Panda.
I don't know. I'm so sorry about the production issues that we're having today. Obviously not what we want to see here. And we do manage to get it back up very fast. So that's great. I haven't missed out on anything actually in terms of the score here. But we're going to be very aggressive with the kit along with the Pearl on this left-hand side. Not be able to get a kill though, reverse. So 25 seconds left. They might still have one more kit play. But you can see the right side of the map has been littered with these traps. And I feel like Andy might just trip one of them.
Going to be borderline impossible for Andy to move up that right side, especially with Angelo going down. Nez is going to get taken out. Lukey was tapping like crazy with the Bell Hypercharge. And at this point, the cat is going to be trying to jump up to make a play. That is going to do it for game number 1, though. Very, very cleanly played from Humble right there. With those bell traps, after getting that blue star, there was a 0% chance anyone was going to be able to push up the right side. And that's going to be basically all Humble needed there.
Yeah, we should be going into game number 2 any moment now, but I have to mention the fact that Humble were not really pressured the entire time. And there was an instance where Semantic goes in with his hypercharge to get the kill, but before he manages to finally get the kill, you see a mark going in at the right time on the opponent by Lukey, which just made Semantic even more lethal. I feel like Semantic without that wouldn't have got the kill, but that was the only kill that Humble needed. We're going to go into game number 2 of this 4th set here. Humble are on match point against Reverso.
Very intrigued to know how Reverso was able to finesse that blue star. I feel like with the Leon totem, it definitely is Humble's blue star to lose. So it looks like Andy might have made an aggressive invisibility play trying to get that blue star advantage. But I think that is definitely a good call considering how last game ended with Lukey having a million bell traps up in the back and them just kind of getting picked off one by one. So I like the game plan switch up from Andy. He's going to be jumping onto Semantic too. And with the help of DA, he's going to be able to take them down. That will be our first kill of the game. Reverso's extending their lead a little bit. DA is going to be trying to hold it down with his super here, but he's getting pinched from all angles right now. They're going to have to back up into their spawn here.
Yeah, I mean, Andy did a great job getting the kill, but has lost so much of position. He goes in for Semantic, gets taken out, and still, though, there is a 1-star lead, but Nez gets taken out by Boss, who gets taken out by Andy, and it is just like a string of dominoes falling, but Reverso are going to get the better of these interactions with a 2-star lead.
Honestly, Humble's a little bit lucky that didn't even come out worse for them with Semantic surviving on literally 100 HP. Absolutely insane stuff to see there, but well played by Andy to clean up what he could clean up. Definitely was looking a little bit suspicious for them, getting their team taken out in the spawn, but he's going to be jumping onto the Pearl now, trying to get some pressure onto Semantic, who will probably have to back up a little bit more. We do see that Boss has a super ready to go, though, so it's probably about time he uses that, as Semantic's going to be taken down to very low HP, Panda.
Yeah, he has to spend all this time just regenning, and he has only 5 seconds of engage time left, and right now the entirety of Humble are going to be collapsing on a reverse. So can he get a kill here? Day goes down, but he finds a kill, though nonetheless it is still a lead for Reverso. With a second, they are able to stay alive and force this game into game number 3 of this 4th set. It's still anybody's game, and Humble are still on match point.
That was super well played by Reverso. Obviously backed up into their spawn. They knew the Leon had to be coming through eventually, and DA was able to pop that Pearl Super just in time to be able to secure that kill and keep that 1-star lead on their heads. So fantastically played. We saw a lot of trades going down in that match, and we are going to be seeing Humble once again get the blue star, but Andy is not standing for that. He's going to take the Leon down immediately, and we're going to see a 1-star lead off rip here for Reverso. And this is definitely what the doctor ordered in order for them to have a chance at a full reverse comeback in this entire match.
Yeah, we might just see a Reverso sweep, so to speak, and you're Andy trying to, get cute with his gadget here, not able to get all the value that he's looking for. Nez does have a super, goes for the gadget to remove the lollipop drop. Obviously, that's something that you want to do. You don't want Boss to get incidental damage and get his super a bit prematurely. But at minute 15 on the clock, it is a lead for Reverso, and they have all the cards.
Yep, we haven't seen Boss get a Leon Hypercharge, I don't
Ooh.
believe. So definitely going to be something to look out for, as Andy does get an assassination kill with the help of DA.
Oh my god.
Semantic is going to be quite weak as well. Is Ned's going to be able to finish him off? He's not, with a little bit of help from Lukey to get out of that situation. Andy hits a bell trap. He might even go down here. But we've seen some crazy stuff go down. Overall, it's going to be 4-4. Humble is up by the blue star and the blue star only.
Yeah, that was a nice jump from Mondi to get Boss, but then an egregious play where he underestimated how much of damage the Sphinx can do up close and personal, and that basically gives Humble the lead of just the blue star. 35 seconds left, and it's sudden death for Reverso because they really need to get a kill here.
Yep, if Humble's able to hold on to this lead, then they will be taking the entire match here, but we see Andy right here with his super ready to go. I'm curious if he's going to be jumping on the Pearl or if he's going to be going for an assassination play. He pops his invisibility, and it's kind of now or never for Reverso. They need to get a kill here, and they don't even have them pinched back like super far into their spawn. As Boss goes invisible, Semantic gets stunned, and Andy is somehow still alive, but that's going to be a positive trade for Reverso. They're up by 1 star, and they're getting away with this thing unless Lukey's able to get a crazy kill, which he is not. Reverso is going to come out on top, tie it up 2-2. Absolutely insane stuff from Reverso. Fantastically played to the boys over there.
That was absolute cinema. Andy just jumping on, getting the kill with his team, able to jump out of that situation, and then he gets taken out. But, you know, I gotta say, beautifully well played by the boys in Reverso Gaming. A whole true to what their game plan was. Their strategy worked for them. And this was the second time I doubted them. But I did mention that, you know, some of these wildcard options might be the ones which actually undo Humble, because that's something which is out of their wheelhouse for expectations. So very well played by Reverso, and the unpredictability of that draft really did help them. And I guess, obviously, the team play.
100%. I definitely thought it was going to be Nez's Angela that was the player to watch, but it definitely ended up being Andy on the kit, getting those stuns necessary, and then with the help of DA's Pearl, just to get a little bit more damage to get those kills. Just fantastically played, always choosing the right times to go in, choosing when to jump on the opponent versus when to jump on his teammate. That's something that I always typically struggle on when I'm playing the cat, so always love to see a cat masterclass. They just keep on winning with these crazy picks, and I gotta say, I'm excited to see what they're gonna pull out in this last set here.
This is going to be our first set 5 in this tournament, Duncan, and I'm quite excited to see how this one plays out. We're going to be on, I believe, out in the open next, so that's going to be a very open map here. I feel like a lot of the cheesier strategies aren't going to be as employable, maybe, I don't know, but in terms of the pick rate, we do have a lot of busters being brought out here. RTs are just generally great in a lot of knockout compositions. The buster synergizes very well with a Max or maybe even a Lily from time to time. Obviously, longer range options like Piper, Byron are really good here. Mandy has kind of fallen off in the meta in this map in particular. Doesn't have a high use rate or even a win rate for that matter. But you have to look at brawlers like, say, Jean and even the Gray for their pulls. As we go into our draft, we do have our bans. They're going to be Byron, Lumi, Angelo, Hit, Buster, and Pearl being banned out. Humble do not want any of that Pearl smoke that they saw in the previous game.
Nope, and I completely understand that. I mean, they did get a little bit dominated by the Pearl, but we're going to see the Jean come off the board first. Definitely makes sense with an Angelo ban. I feel like it is probably a little bit too early to take any of those other water walking brawlers outside of Angelo. So we're going to see the Jean come in. Obviously, we have seen Lukey put up a diabolically good, I should add, Jean performance earlier in this matchup. So expect to see him on that, but we're going to see what Reverso has to go here. There are a lot of options that could potentially tank a Jean pull. Any brawler with a turret, such as like Leon or Grom, potentially could be in play there. Janet as well, but I would expect a little bit more range here. Bell wouldn't be super surprising to see here as well, but I mean, they're going to have 2 picks coming up here. Maybe they'll even go for a little bit more HP, but the Buster being out of the picture does make it so Ollie's probably the only pick that would make sense.
And you were right. Muhammad Ali is going to be coming online here along with the bell. I'm going to make that a thing. I'm going to make that a thing. It's going to be coming online with the bell here. I like the bell here, bounce shots galore, because you tend to group up, especially once you have the Gene here. The magic puffs are something that you do see, but I feel like as of late, the unfriendly spirits are probably the ones which people run more often with the gadgets.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Meeple is an interesting pick here, to say the least. I feel like there's not that many situations where you get like fully pushed up into the opponent's spawn, so maybe they're playing more for the box gadget strategy, just trying to clear out a little bit of room, especially in the end game. Like, it can be so menacing to like kind of keep the opponents out of the middle of the map, keep them into that smoke. I've always liked Bell as a counter into the Gene, just because to get any value out of those magic puffs, you're going to need to be close to your teammates, and that will facilitate the Bell bounces. So I think as far as the snipers go, that Reverso could have picked here makes a lot of sense on the Bell. A little bit less confident on the Meeple pick, but we're going to be seeing Humble go with a Piper and an RT, so the queen of snipers herself, and then also the best anti-tank sniper. So definitely a very well-rounded comp from Humble. Might make it a little bit more difficult for Reverso to go aggro with their last pick, but I mean, they might have to pull out something crazy, because Humble has a fundamentally goated knockout comp right now.
That is true. I do like the Meeple, and I'll tell you why I think they should go Juju with the Meeple. It's just that with the mentions of Meeple and the fact that you have a thrower, you can completely isolate people out. And then if you use your super, it just completely makes it impossible to get out of that situation. But they go for the Eve instead, and I think the Eve also makes a lot of sense. Single target brawlers do really bad against Eve, and you have a slew of single target brawlers on the other side. Range, though, is more or less similar across the board for both the teams, but I feel like it's gonna really fundamentally hinge on this Meeple pick. Gotta say though, I like the RT pick. It addresses dive brawlers, but it also addresses the fact that it has enough range, so it doesn't really need to force itself in that second form. So very well drafted by Humble, but I gotta say I like the Reverso draft as well.
I think I do give Humble a slight comp advantage here, just because the Meeple is going to have a hard time getting any value here. He's going to get outranged pretty significantly, in my opinion. So unless they're able to like get into an end game situation where he plays his gadget super combo perfectly, I feel like he might have a little bit of a difficult time getting into the action of things. But we are going straight into it, and Meeple is proving me right by dying first already. Crazy stuff going on off rip. Lukey does get a fantastic grass break too, and it's just going to be Andy all by himself, looking like he is going to be playing for the 3v1. Probably not going to be able to get away with much, but I guess he's doing all he can to get closer to his hypercharge. But whatever Humble did in the first round seemed to work very well. Their comp is extremely sturdy, Panda.
Yeah, but whatever Andy is doing here, trying to get his hypercharge, it's just going to help Semantic, because he's going to get even closer to his super and isolate a member from Reverso. So that first round was kind of crazy, because we missed like a few seconds and already everybody was dead. So here, hopefully, Reverso can do something different, but it's already looking like Lukey has day on lock.
I mean, the further Humble pushes up, the more value Nez is going to get. So you can see he's playing this extremely passively this time. I gotta wonder if it was maybe like a Piper tap Gene Vengeful Spirit combo that was the end of Nez in round number 1. But he hits some good shots onto Semantic, who is in possession of his Gene pull right now. So that's going to be the thing to look out for. Nez is going to have to keep his distance. Obviously, Andy has a jump, but he's the only one who can avoid that Gene pull should Semantic go for it. Lukey's got a hypercharge as well. So a lot of utility on the side of Humble right now.
The literal goddess of war on the right hand with the hypercharge ready, and it's being piloted by Lukey, one of the best snipers in the world. It is not an easy task for Reverso right now. Messes people on the right hand side. Lukey pops his super, his hypercharge, sorry. Is not able to connect to those shots. Semantic going to be falling down. It's going to be Lukey going up against. They get taken out as well. Boss the last one on his team, but he's going to be going down, and despite all odds, Reverso come out on top in that round.
That was a crazy way for that round to end. No shade to Semantic, but he whiffed that Gene pull bad, man. Like, that was going nowhere. He pulled nothing, and that was kind of the begining of Humble's downfall in that round. As we are going to be kicked out here, we are in an absolutely electric round number 5, and you got to wonder if Semantic's going to have to lock in a little bit harder after that. But that's a Gene pull that you really can't afford to miss in a situation like that. He got caught out like immediately after that because he overextended, got into the Meeple's range, and then just ended up dying. So we're going to have to see Semantic clean up that play a little bit as we go back into the game. And this winner is going to take the first game in our knockout set right here, Panda.
Luckily, we didn't miss all that much or anything at all. And here we are. It is round number 3. This is a very important round. It's going to decide which team actually gets the first win in this knockout set here. Andy has a super here. He places it down. Nez and Day are being pressured, but the nice manses of Meeples are going to give them a path forward to move up here. Andy very low, but is still surviving. On the other hand, Nez gets taken down, but Semantic falls as well. There's a jump coming from Andy, but it's not going to matter as Humble completely wiped them off the map, and now Humble are on match point here, Duncan.
Yep, I don't think they had enough utility, enough like DPS to kind of like get through that end situation. They saved the Eve babies for the very end as well as the Meeple super, but just wasn't really able to result in a whole lot. You just saw the members of Humble, RT and Piper just kind of sitting back, getting those snipes in. They didn't even need Semantic to hit a pull to be able to win in the end there. So once again, I just find myself coming back to this Meeple pick. I feel like it is a little bit underwhelming. I feel like they would have been a little bit better suited with a sniper, like maybe Piper, as she is going to be able to get an immediate kill.
Oh my god.
And Reverse was falling apart in front of our eyes. That is absolutely insane snipes from the side of Humble. They get the wall break that they want. And now Nez is all by himself on 200 HP back in the spawn. You got to think he's waiting for his first opportunity to get into the smoke right now.
Yeah, Semantic given the honors of getting that last hit there, getting the kill as well. To me, he's one shot closer to the super. Lots of protestos coming out from Humble, and that is actually quite surprising. I have to add, nice snipe from Luki. He's kept back people. He's kept back entire teams at bay just by his snipes alone.
Yeah, Luki is playing an absolutely goated sniper today. Boss is just kind of doing his thing on the left side. Hasn't had to do too much into Andy. They're kind of comfortable playing a stalemate for the time being. But curious how close Semantic is, especially after being granted the finishing blows onto Nez in the end of the last round. So he's got to be at least nearing closer to that gene pull. If he's able to hit that magic hand, it could be a it could be a finishing move, honestly.
Gotta say, it's been frustrating for Andy to go up against Boss here because Boss keeps on marking him up, and once the mark has gone, once it comes back once more, because Boss has been hitting these snipes so repeatedly, Andy has not really been getting a chance to breathe. He hasn't been able to charge up his super either. Manches of Meeple coming online forces Reverso into the mid here, and that's going to be low. Andy goes down. Day is the last one alive, and with the Protesto, Humble are able to cap that off with a win.
That'll do it. I feel like that was just an underwhelming comp from the side of Reverso. Humble was able to kind of just dominate them with a little bit more of a conventional knockout comp, and we just saw the snipers as well as the Gene just being able to get so much value there. Meeple was really never able to have any like type of range advantage over anybody on the map. He obviously had that gadget, but it lasts for like 3-4 seconds, not really going to be enough to secure the bag at the end of the day, and Humble was simply too locked in, especially Luki and Boss on those snipes. Fantastically played to those boys. They were sniping like crazy, and they are going to end up avoiding the Reverso reverse sweep in spectacular fashion.
Indeed. I mean, that was beautiful to watch from Humble. Luki was just a man possessed, just hitting those snipes repeatedly across the map. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boss also holding his lane on lock. We saw that often. And I feel like Reverso, it was not just the draft, they were outgunned in the gameplay as well. Humble just in a masterclass right now. They won it 3-2. They did take a 2-set loss, but I feel like, I don't know. I feel like Reverso are still playing this pretty well. Just that last set was out of character for them.
I would agree with that. I'm definitely impressed with Reverso's performance today. I mean, going down 2-0 to Humble at the beginning and then bouncing back and taking them to a set 5 is no small accomplishment, especially since they lost yesterday. They definitely played significantly better, in my opinion, today against probably a better team with Humble. So, I mean, fantastically played to them. They definitely performed very well. I think they got a little bit outdrafted when it mattered the most, and that led to their demise.
Yeah, and we're going to go into our last fixture of the day. It is going to be SK Gaming versus Reply Totem. And I feel like this one is also one which has the makings of a finals of any tournament. Both these squads are really good, and with Totem coming back into form like we saw yesterday, I am really looking forward to this one as much as I was looking forward to some of the other matches today. SK Gaming has been consistently great this year in EMEA. They secured top spots in a plethora of tournaments. They won the first monthly finals as well. And they'll be up against a Reply Totem squad, which is kind of unsure, but they've been getting back into the mix of things. And Totem, though, they did get rid of their Eclipse Art Jinx in a previous tournament, which happened last week, and are looking to dominate EMEA once more. Because, you know, it's been a while since EMEA bled green, and I feel like a lot of people want to see that. Like the previous fixture, though, this one has the makings of a grand finals, as these two teams can face up in the monthly finals, but only in the grand finals here, Duncan.
Yep, I definitely think that we could definitely see our match of the day right here. This is definitely the one that I was the most excited for looking at the day 2 schedule. So I'm excited to see a banger match. Obviously, SK is probably going to be our favorite here, but Totem is always going to be able to pull it out if they need to. So I'm excited to see what we go into. Starting off with open zone right here, we see Lumi, Stu, B, Byron, Lola, and Bell come off the board for the bans already. So I would assume, which team banned the Lumi? SK banned the Lumi, so probably going to see a Totem first pick here. But just thinking about brawlers that are very fantastic here. I mean, it looks like SK did ban all of the go-to first picks, so we're going to see something that I was not expecting at all, Panda. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did you have your eyes on the Pam here at all?
No, I'm not sure about Code Pam, but I am sure about Code Pan here. I'm very confused about this pick here. Big Mama? Not sure if she has the right squeeze against SK Gaming. I don't know. This is a very wild first pick here.
This is an insane first pick. I did not have that on my bingo card for today's matches at all. You got to wonder if they're going for something specific, because you see they banned like the anti-heal ability of the Byron out already. I mean, Crow is like the only other anti-heal in the game, but I'm curious if they have like a very specific comp in mind here. I have to assume they do, considering they literally first picked the Pam, which, I mean, I don't think that SK was going to take a Pam personally, but you never know, I guess. They're going to be taking a Poco and a Lu. That is a diabolical combination, since Poco is by far the hardest counter to the Lu ice rink ability right there. So they're going to have a lot of control over that mid zone. They're going to have a lot of healing, and it looks like we're seeing both teams kind of take a healing slate here. Maybe we'll even see another healer hit the board.
I don't know if we're going to see another healer in conjunction with a Pam, because that would be a bit too egregious here coming in from Totem. But maybe that's a possibility. I do like this nucleus of the composition for SK Gaming. They have a lot of, I guess, meldability. They are malleable enough that they can change up their composition. They could either go aggressive or maybe go for a tankier option on their own side here. But Totem have to respond very, very critically if they want to get a win here, because it's already looking really good for SK.
100%. I definitely am enjoying the SK draft more than I'm enjoying the Reply Totem draft so far, but I like pulling out the new fun brawlers. I mean, we saw a Dynamite work in our last match. They're going to be adding a Bow and a Finks right there, so that's a very interesting combination. I wonder if we'll see the Bow Totem that can allow his teammates to charge supers a little bit more, considering he's got Pam and Finks with very impactful supers into the game. I love the Bow pick. I feel like I would have definitely liked this comp more if I saw the Bow come off the board before the Pam personally, but I think that it makes sense. I feel like they've got a decent enough comp. It's a lot of HP, honestly, so we'll see if SK is going to have the damage.
You know, honestly, after the Bow and the Finks, I have to say, actually, that Pam pick makes a lot of sense, because you're going to have so much damage barreling down once that Finks places the super down on the zone. It's a big threat. I don't think anybody can really walk into wherever Lumi wants you to walk. Keep saying Lumi, wherever Finks doesn't want you to walk, because the number of projectiles that Pam has and the number of projectiles the Boat has are going to be just beaming across the map for Reply Totem. So I think this is a really good draft. They have speed, SK Gaming. I don't know if they're up to the task here.
It's gonna be insane to watch this play out, especially with the max coming through. Joker's gonna be running that max there, so I think like SK definitely has a more expected comp. Totem's definitely pulling out a trick from their bag. I guess they think they need to pull out some of these crazier comps if they're gonna come out on top for SK. But I appreciate that they're not just gonna go down without a fight. They want to take the craziest comps that they can cook, and it's working out decently so far, as Maru's already gonna get that initial Pam healing turret up. And as expected, they are using Mori's Totem to help charge supers. So expecting a lot of Fink supers and a lot of Pam supers to come on the field in this game. So far, it looks like Totem is on top.
Yeah, and Totem are quite bulky. Ooh, very aggressive super coming from Maru, holding that line. They don't really have a way to address that Pam super unless they get specifically into those lines of sight. And a big super coming from Angel Boy. That's going to make it almost impossible to get back in the mid. Joker shots barely moving an inch here. There also is an ice rink, though, which nullifies that super coming in from Angel Boy. So I feel like that might be the counter play. And SK are slowly but surely coming back in this game despite being in a deficit early on.
Yep, it looks like we're going to be seeing a lot of retreating and going back to the zone throughout this game. Yoshi's doing all he can to get some damage up here after healing up his teammates quite a fair amount. We're going to see the Pam turret be relegated back to the back of the spawn, but the Lu super is going to pretty much counter it out right there. Poco's getting so much value. Yoshi is playing absolutely insane so far. And the Fink super's coming down, but just not a whole lot to show for them right now. SK is kind of running away with the zone here.
I just gotta say, Joker is always a phenom. He's a monster on the max. The fact that he's able to dodge so many of these shots, it's kind of crazy and insane. I feel like single-handedly he's put his team back into the mix of things here. And all those shots coming in from Yoshi onto the odd zone actually might be a little bit of a double-edged sword for Totem as they take so much more damage. Yoshi's still very much alive, and Ope is going to be placing down the rink, and SK Gaming have blitzed back Reply Totem and taken game number 1.
They just did a fantastic job. Getting that Pam turret out from behind their wall was really the main thing that they needed to get accomplished in order to win this game, and they got it done pretty quickly. They didn't get into too much of a hole there, and then once they get Poco hypercharges, he's just going to be able to heal so much, especially with Joker juking the way he was juking. Like, it's just going to be very difficult to get him out of that situation, even with the amount of spray damage that Totem has. I feel like the Poco pick with the healing is just a little bit too much to handle right now.
Indeed, Joker just bobbing and weaving. These shots coming from Maru. Maru pretty low. Angel Boy is also pretty low as well. But I like the fact that Yoshi was able to hold this left flank for a while, but he gets taken out. So does Joker, and the entirety of SK are out of the situation. Now Totem can force their advantage and get into a more commanding situation here. Angel Boy does have a super and can put it down to make sure that Joker and Yoshi can't get much going on, and that's exactly what he does. Yoshi trying to do something on this right hand lane, not able to do so. Joker gets taken down. A great start coming in from Reply Totem here.
We've seen a complete overtake of the zone right now, and Mori has 7 mines on the field right now, so they're going to have a tough time pushing up here. You see Joker has an idea of where they are, but not exactly sure, and he's going to have to get out of there. Well played with the speed dash combo, and SK with the ice rink is also going to be trying to push back up, but they've got about a 50% deficit right now. Totem might just need to regroup, get a kill or two, and then get back onto the zone to finish this one out, but Angel Boy is going to get pinched out there, and we just see Yoshi doing so much healing right now. And that heal is going to come in super clutch. It looks like they'll probably be able to get at least a 50%, maybe even tie up the zone pretty soon here.
I disagree with that super from Angel Boy. That death super was not it. They would have definitely been much more useful if he survived and came back and used it. But right now, though, Totem have completely reduced that deficit, which is a huge, almost insurmountable one, despite all the odds.
Yeah, and we're going to see a speed coming in from Joker here, trying to get some heals up from Yoshi before they run into these bow mines. The max speed just neutralizing the bow mines so fantastically well. Even if it's not Joker himself, his teammates are able to duke them with the speed. But Yoshi just keeps on cycling these heals. Ope is going to throw another Lu super onto the ring, but Joker is just going to be trying to tie it up here. If he doesn't go down to Mari and Maru here, then it might be SK running away with set number 1. But they're going to be doing everything that they can to get SK off the point here. And it looks like we're getting down into crunch time. I think Totem's going to walk away with this one. Wow, fantastically played to stand strong on the zone with SK making their hardest push there. They're going to tie it up, Panda.
That was crazy. I felt like it was going to go with the way of SK Gaming. There were moments where the Pan stepped off the zone to be aggressive, and I felt like that would have bit them in the butt. But luckily for Reply Totem, they were able to hold on. Let's see what happens in this game number 3, because I feel like both the teams are adapting their strategy based off of what they saw in the previous game. As we go into game number 3, I feel like this one promises also to be pretty close.
Definitely. I feel like these games have just both come down to who's chilling on the zone when it's all said and done at the very end. And it's definitely going to be coming down to that again, I would have to assume. But SK is kind of holding the mid control for now. Totem's trying to get some of their utility up, but it looks like they're putting their bow totem in a different spot this time. Maybe prioritizing Mori's super over Maru's this time. Joker's doing all he can to wiggle here, but Maru is just absolutely spraying him. Angel Boy is absolutely spraying him. And it looks like they're going to trade out right there. We have a pretty even game on our hands so far with SK with a pretty decent percentage lead right now.
Yeah, at the end of the last game, I had to mention that with all 3 members of Totem being on the point, Yoshi was able to get so much of value, get his super repeatedly back, and it kept SK even more threatening, which is kind of crazy, all things considered. And now here we see a big super coming in from Angel Boy on the right hand, and they're able to get both the kills. Open the last one. He gets taken out as well, but he has put the rink in the middle. It doesn't matter, though. Reply Totem are able to capitalize on the advantage that they have, but Angel Boy is going to be slowly slowed down.
Yeah, Angel Boy's doing all he can to keep collecting that zone time without getting frozen too hard, but they've got the Fink Super up now, doing a ton of work. They have full positioning right now. Nobody's on the zone, though, so it looks like they're going to correct that mistake, get a little bit of zone time back, and they should be taking a lead here. Yoshi is going to be trying to push up, but, I mean, he's taking a significant amount of damage from Mario, and the pan pick that none of us saw coming is looking like it's working out decently well, but the double stun comes down from Ope, and it looks like they're probably going to get away with 2 kills out of that. The bow mines aren't going to be able to do a whole lot with the max speed countering that out. And SK is on the point. It is their game to lose at this point with only about 20%, 10% remaining.
Lots of mistake being brought out by Reply Totem, and right now they do have control of this mid, but it's very, very close. They need to get a team wipe. They need to get a kill on a Yoshi. Yoshi's able to walk onto the point. Mario gets off the point, which is unfortunate. He gets stunned as well, and Joker, oh, he's not able to dip his little toe in. Ope's gonna get stunned, but he gets stunned on the point, and that is what SK need to take the set.
Totem tried their hardest with the bow mines to try to keep them off of the point to finish that off, but it was simply too little too late with only 2% needed. SK was always going to be able to force the issue there, especially with some of the jukes that Joker was showing there at the end of the game, man. Absolutely insane stuff. Joker is absolutely wiggling all over the place right now, so crazy stuff from SK. But that was an amazing first set, though. Considering how goofy the draft looked from Totem, I'm very happy that we got a very competitive set coming out there.
I honestly I felt like it was gonna go the way of Totem after we saw the Finks pick, but this is emblematic of how strong a pick Poco is. Even after all of the nerfs that Poco's received, he is still by and far the most oppressive healer in the game. So I do not agree with the pan pick most of the time, but I feel like with the synergy that you got with the Finks, it really did work out pretty well for Reply Totem. I feel like the reason Totem lost this wasn't because of anything other than the fact that they weren't mindful about staying on the hot zone when they could have. There was a moment where the entirety of Totem were in their own spawn and not able to move up for maybe 10 seconds, and you didn't see any member of Reply Totem really sit on the point. I feel like that's when they could have got the possession that they required, and we saw this repeatedly throughout all of the games in that first set. So there are some issues that Totem have to clean up, but strong set for them.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that. I feel like the team communication and synergy was just a little bit superior from SK than Totem there. And if they were able to communicate who's supposed to be on the zone, who's supposed to be pushing back, then they might have been able to eke out an extra 10% here and there and won that set. But overall, I love seeing a crazy draft like that ends up like working out decently well. Even though they weren't able to win, I'm still excited to see what drafts they're going to pull out here, especially as we go into set number 2, Hard Rock Mine. And it looks like we will have Totem on the first pick. SK is going to be banning Lumi, Janet, Chester. Totem is going to be banning Jackie, Stu, Max. And we are going to be seeing a Buster once again with the first pick. He seems like the only tank that's really catching these first picks in this in these games.
For sure. I mean, there is also a reason why he's so oppressive, because he can get his hypercharge so easily. I feel like that needs to be addressed at some point, but I think that the meta favors him. I feel like without him, it would be a much different meta, as Chester is still open. I wouldn't be surprised by SK Gaming deciding to go for Chester.
Chester's banned.
Oh, I'm blind. Thank you.
No
Carl
worries.
and Gene coming out instead. Sorry, chat.
Oh, good, man. So they're going to see the Carl and Gene. Definitely makes sense. I mean, Gene does seem to be the most picked mid in Gem Grab that we've seen. And then as well as Carl being probably one of the most versatile brawlers in the game. He's so oppressive. When he gets up into their spawn, he can get those angles going so crazy. He can bounce it off the walls if somebody's in his face to get a little extra DPS. And then obviously that fire gadget is just one of the most annoying things in Brawl Stars right now, 100%. So we're going to see that come in as a very aggressive lane there. And once he gets that super 2, he might be able to deal with Buster better than people might think. So we're going to have to see what Totem goes. I'm curious what they go with a mid into the Gene here. I wouldn't be super shocked if we saw Bo make another appearance here, but I don't know. There could be a lot of different options that they could go with here. B, I also think... Yeah, it looks like B is still on the board as well. So that's a brawler that we've seen get banned quite a fair amount, but she's finally going to have a chance to get played. We'll see if she gets picked.
Yeah, B is a brawler that you can pick. You could also probably go for the Penny as well. I feel like Penny has a really good win rate, despite the pick rate not being all that high. So there is a argument to be made for that, but they go for the Gray along with the Sandy. This is an interesting composition. I haven't seen Sandy in competitive in quite a long time, and Gray is going to be playing the mid against the Gene. I don't know how I feel about that, but I feel like the synergy between the Gray pull and the Buster pull are the fulcrum of what reply totem are going for.
I'm a little bit confused by this totem comp as well. Obviously, once you get that Sandy super, it's going to be very helpful, but I mean, it seems like they're mostly just going for like gadget plays with the Sandy stun, with the gray pull, with the buster pull. Maybe they're going to be trying to hit a diabolical lick on the gem carrier, maybe like we saw Drage do in Team Heretics win, but the SK is going to be grabbing a B with the last pick. A little bit surprised to see that too. I get that it's a good matchup into buster and into gray, but I would have expected them to have more of a lane type brawler, but I guess that they don't want to feed the Sandy more than they need to. They're going to be willing to play their range here. And overall, these are two very interesting drafts. I don't super know exactly which one I like better. I'm probably leaning SK though.
I like the SK draft a little bit more. It makes more sense in like my lizard brain as we go into the second set between SK and Reply Totem. SK Gaming took the first set and it was a very contentious one. Let's see if this one is as epic by any means.
Looks like they're just going to be doubling up on the mid more or less. So I guess them not taking a lane was intentional. They just plan on having B and the Gene straight up chilling in the mid so far and let Yoshi kind of do whatever he wants. But we see Mari on the Sandy kind of up here waiting for his time to strike right there. I mean, he's going to have the stun gadget ready to go. And Joker is on pretty weak HP, so Mari's positioning is looking pretty decent. Probably not going to be able to get away with much, though. And so far, we've seen pretty much both teams grab the gems that they're supposed to grab, and not a whole lot else has happened.
Indeed, here there is a super B used by Maru here. Joker gets his fourth and is able to pick up the fifth gem as well. The 5-3 deficit. Nice pull coming in from Ope. Opens up that line there. Pull coming in from Angel Boy. The Maru gets the kill there, but he gets taken out himself. Angel Boy going in for another. He is saucy. He might get pulled here. He does get pulled. And all of that play is not going to amount to much as Mori gets taken out by Ope. And this back and forth is crazy. Maru going in once more, but Yoshi able to address him in the countdown now for SK Gaming.
That was ridiculous. We saw pretty much every single player have possession of the gems for a couple seconds there. Yoshi's just going to preemptively put his fire onto the teleporter. And when it's all said and done, Ope's pull is going to be the final pull of the day. Joker is going to end up on all the gems, but that was insane. I think almost every player was in control of the gems for maybe even just a moment, but that was crazy stuff going down. Both teams had full committed to winning the game in that moment in time, and it's just SK that came out on top. Crazy stuff, Panda.
For sure. I mean, you were right. They were playing hot potato with the gems at one point. We're going to go into game number 2. Here, SK took the first one, and they're looking really strong. I felt like Reply Totem had something going, but I don't agree with how Angel Boy dove in with all of the gems with no real recourse for his team once he got taken out. So unfortunate for him. Nice pulls, though. He has been styling on them with that gray.
That was a fantastic pull at the end there. I do agree that he probably overextended a little bit. I can't remember if Ope already had pull online or if he had just charged it. Might have been a little bit unlucky with the supercharge from Ope just coming in at the right time. But overall, this game is looking like it's in Totem's favor so far. They got good positioning. They still have the Sandy up here. And Mario seemed pretty content just hanging out on the left side of the map in this entire set so far. They're going to send Yoshi over there to try to address that. And it looks like that will work out in their favor. Mario teleports in. Ope has his pull. Is he going to be able to hit Angel Boy? He is. And that's going to be another kill. Ope is just owning him in these long pull interactions. The Gene is coming out as the superior puller to the Gray so far, as we would expect. But I mean, still, textbook execution from Ope on these Gene pulls.
Beautiful stuff coming in from Ope. I like the placement of the portals from Angel Boy. Allows Maru to get on a very aggressive position early on. Yoshi's really doing a great job addressing that and has got the heat ejector. Gets taken out, but Maru able to get a response on the other side. Joker getting taken down by Angel Boy, who uses the hypercharge. And slowly but surely, Totem are getting back in terms of the gem line here. Hypercharge pop by Maru is going to be pulling everybody in, decides not to use the super while hypercharge, going for the damage alone. And now Ope is basically who they need. A pull from Ope is all that SK really want at this point.
That was pretty ridiculous value from Maru, and he's going to go in and do the same thing again. They take out Ope on the gems. I don't think they're going to be able to walk away with too many of those. And after it's all said and done, not really a whole lot changed from that whole interaction, but Maru just keeps on cycling in and getting so much work done right here. He's probably going to be dead here, but he's going to get a kill once again. Crazy stuff, and it looks like the winner of this fight will probably walk away with it. Mari is going to be on the gems. Joker is one shot, but Mari cannot let them grab any of these gems. Otherwise, it's over. He pops the hypercharge. Maru is back. He has just spent this entire game cycling those teleports back in, and this is crazy stuff going down right now. There's going to be enough time for Totem to get a natural reset here, so they don't have to pick any panic plays yet. SK is going to have to find a way out of the spawn trap right here, especially as he pulls him there.
Indeed, and they have the portals online to get out of that situation. There is a lead for Totem. They have 13 gems here, but the gems are split across the board. Yoshi has been addressed. Ope is the next one they need to completely take out. Ope gets the pull. Angel Boy gets taken down. There's a reset, but all of the kills come for Reply Totem, and they have all the gems.
Lots of gems getting dropped all around the place. I mean, with the gem split up, that is kind of bound to happen at some point. Now they have them consolidated onto Maru's Buster, so likely they'll be able to get away with this here. But overall, man, the amount of gems that we have seen change hands in this entire set has been absolutely ridiculous. Totem is going to come away with that, with all of their gems on their tank. So clearly not what they planned on going into the match, but they're executing it well. They keep on, we've had each team come out on top of the final gem exchange one time so far, and we're going to be going into game number 3 on Hard Rock Mine. This has been electric so far.
Indeed, this is crazy. And this is just the second set, you're telling me? I am incensed with how crazy this is going. Right now, though, we're having a little bit of a stalemate in the middle here. Maru going to get in an aggressive position. Yoki tries to get the heat ejector off on Maru, but misses the mark here. Mori not really committing on the left lanes. And this time, I feel like Angel Boy needs to be a little bit more conservative with his approach, because I feel like a lot of the moments there are because of his overcommittals.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, we've seen there's been so many pulls going down. Angel Boy has pulls, Ope has pulls, Maru has pulls. So, I mean, you really can't overstep too far at all in this matchup. If you're on either team, there's so many people that can catch you lacking, even if only for a split second.
Oh,
Angel Boy hits a great pull there, but we're going to get kicked out for a second. Hopefully we'll be back soon, because this set has been too electric to miss, Panda.
I really want to see what's happening right now, and I understand and feel you, chat. It was kind of crazy how back and forth this was. You did mention how the gems were changing hands between all of the teams, and it was kind of crazy. Like the pulls coming in from Angel Boy, but then the response coming in from the Gene from the other team. We are going to go back into game here.
Perfect. Looks like we're going back, and it is 6 gems to Totem, 5 gems to SK, with a gem on their side. We have pull online from Ope. He's going to pull Maru, just secure that kill before he becomes more of an issue than he already was. Maru is in a good position right now, but looks like he is going to get fully addressed by Ope and Joker right here. And, I mean, we're going to be seeing 7-7 with a pull through Angel Boy. Joker is going to be able to survive that. And we're just seeing a bunch of pulls hit, but not as many pull deaths as we've seen in the last couple of games, Panda.
Ooh, Mario allowed to stay alive with 94 HP, and I completely agree with what you're saying. They're being a little bit more judicious with the way they're going with their pulls here. They want to make more impactful plays. Now pull coming in. Mario's going to be there with his super. He's going to be taken out. Nice heat ejector as well. Finds a mark on it. Angel Boy. Angel Boy goes down too.
Wow, what an absolutely crazy shot from Yoshi to get the double fire gadget off there. But Ope's going to be up too high. He gets pulled from the teleporting Buster. And now Angel Boy and Mari are going to be teleporting back in there again. Yoshi is super weak on those HMs. Joker is super weak on this 4. But they take out Angel Boy on the gray. And now it is all up to Maru. Is he going to be able to get a shot here on Joker to be able to reset? He is. Is he going to be able to get out, though? Oh, my goodness. He kills both of them. And Maru's going to be escaping with 7 gems. Angel Boy has 6. Totem might just get away with this. That
was kind of crazy. But Ope, though, has a magic hand. He gets pulled himself. He pulls Mori. Has removed 1 from the equation. But with 9 seconds left, I don't know if SK have the firepower. Ooh, nice super from Maru to obviate that the charge up B shot. And just like that, Reply Totem are able to take their second game here in the set and force another set number 4, I guess. That was kind of crazy. 1 set apiece between these teams.
That was insane that Maru was able to get that teleport, take it all the way the long way around, and then be able to take out all of those people with gems in the spawn and somehow get away with it too. I feel like Ope maybe should have held onto that pull. I mean, pulling the person without the gems was never going to be able to save you. Might have been a little bit too little too late regardless, but at least to give his team a chance, it could have been fun to see. But either way, man, crazy stuff going down. You're never out of the game when you have gray teleports and a tank on your team, and Maru absolutely proved that with his Buster performance. Absolutely crazy stuff, man. What an absolutely electric gem grab set. I cannot get over that.
SK took the first set, but Reply Totem with a reply got that second one. I gotta say, it's kind of crazy how well Reply Totem are doing right now, and I think I can safely say they're back, right? We can say that they're back, right?
I gotta say it, man. They are playing like absolutely crazy in yesterday's games, in today's games, and I'm just looking forward to see what they have to offer, man. If they can beat SK here, then they are definitely going to turn some heads and kind of establish themselves as one of the best teams once again in EMEA. So
Mhm.
super excited to see how this goes. As we move into set 3, we're gonna have safe zone. Looks like we are gonna have Melody, Lumi, Angelo, Eve, Bell, and Kroby banned. First Crow ban I believe we've seen in a while, but
Mhm.
have to expect Reply Totem will be picking with the first pick, and as expected, it will be a Colette. So interesting there. Obviously, a fantastic brawler for getting a ton of damage onto that safe, as well as probably the best anti-tank option in Heist, since you'll be able to feed off of any higher HP brawlers and just cycle that hypercharge so quickly. But she does struggle a little bit into range, so curious if we'll see brawlers like Piper or Brock maybe come into the play here, maybe even a Colt if they want to go for more safe damage.
Yeah, I mean, Colette is just so good in terms of addressing a lot of the uh, tankier options coming out from SK Gaming, and also for the objective. I like this SK Gaming draft here. You didn't mention the Colt is like perennially a great brawler, especially on a map like this, and B is going to be coming out for the long range expertise that it can bring to the table. There are certain brawlers that we haven't seen just yet, and Daryl is one of them. Juju is another. So I feel like those brawlers are definitely something that Totem could go for because they are very heavily picked here in the meta.
I think that taking the Colette first pick might be a play as well to try to get themselves their Daryl. So I could definitely see Reply Totem taking a Daryl
Mhm.
here. I think the B is coming into play more as a hard Colette counter. It's very hard to do anything as a Colette into a B when she's able to
Mhm.
outrange you so easily, get those supers on you. Colt obviously is going to be in the picture more for that safe damage, but either way, if you're a good Colt, you should be able to clip up a Colette as well. I mean, going Daryl into the B would be very tricky. Obviously, Colette counters her a little, or counters him a little bit harder. But Chuck is the other brawler I was going to mention. He somehow avoided the bans, and he is going to get drafted here with a Byron. So we're going to see he's going to have his
Ooh.
own dedicated healer full time. So we're going to see how much work the Chuck can do here. But I definitely think that the Byron is going to be playing a very supportive role for both of his teammates to get all of that safe damage.
Yeah, SK Gaming need to draft something which can go all in, but no, they decide to go for control instead. They go for the Eve, and I feel like Eve can get her super faster because Chuck exists and is going to be diving in all the time, and usually Eve does hold the back lines, not the front lines, so that might be one of the reasons why. But I feel like in terms of the fundamentals of what this mode is, Reply Totem have that unlocked. They have guaranteed safe damage from the Chuck, and I feel like SK Gaming have to play very aggressive and have to blitz Reply Totem because that early damage that they get is going to be nullified with that Chuck pick.
Yeah, I'm curious how they're going to play this. I mean, they have the B and they have the... Oh, wait, that's not a Eve. That's a Lily. Which is... Look at that. Interesting. Okay, that's not what I was expecting there. I do think that it was the Eve shown on the graphic, but it looks
Yeah,
like it
yeah.
is going to be Joker on Lily instead. So I guess that they're going to be trying to use the gadget plays to get the Lily onto the safe, and it should be a decent matchup into the Chuck as well. Maru does come out on top of that. He's going to land a post onto him as well. So Ope and Yoshi are holding it down for now, but we have seen a little bit of damage come through already on the side of SK. So very curious to see what the Lily's going to be able to do here. I mean, Chuck is getting that free damage onto the safe right now. Joker's probably going to be making a move up to the safe here.
Yeah, he's going to go up onto Mori. Does try to find the kill. Doesn't find the kill. Mori gets a kill on Yoshi, but now finding Joker gets addressed by Angel Boy here. And you did mention Angel Boy is going to have a really difficult go at it against Ope. And here, Maru is able to get even more damage. So slowly but surely, damage is ticking upwards. Oh no, Ope pops his hypercharge, gets taken out immediately after popping it. This is unfortunate here. Joker getting the kill. No, he gets killed by Angel Boy. And this is looking really great for Reply Totem.
As long as they're able to deal with Yoshi's Colt at all, then they basically just have to stall and let Maru cook and keep getting the safe damage. He's getting the safe down below 30% here. He probably only needs like 2 or 3 more dives in to be able to finish it off. So Yoshi's going to have to capitalize on this positioning they have right now. If Yoshi goes down, which he is going to Mari's Byron tap, that might be a little bit too much. I believe that the Chuck is probably going to finish off the game right here. As expected, he does.
Yeah, I really feel that they need to be more aggressive, SK Gaming. Otherwise, they're going to be falling to this Reply Totem side. It's a very cheesy comp coming from Reply Totem, but they have been executing it quite effectively. Let's see if SK Gaming have a reply for them.
You can say it's a cheesy comp, but everybody knows about the Chuck and Heist. If you don't want to play against them, then you got to ban him. And it looks like SK is learning their lesson right here. I mean, I guess that they were trying to go with like a Chuck of their own with the Lily strategy, but I feel like she's just so much more easy to shut down. She's too predictable. Like, you know that she wants to go for the safe. And more or less, they're just buying time for Yoshi right now, who is not debating doing anything except shooting the safe. And Mario is going to have to go up and deal with that. But they have gotten a large amount of damage on the safe so far. Chuck has not really gotten a chance to get his post set up and start impacting this game for real.
Joker is so good with those teleports, but it gets taken out once more because of the gadget from Mori. Maru hasn't really been able to get much damage on the objective, and now finally we see some damage rolling in from Reply Totem. Maru still has to get one more post up. Yoshi, on the other time, doesn't really care about what Maru is doing. He's just going in for the objective. Joker 2 is just going in for safe damage, so I like the fact that SK Gaming have course corrected and are going for the objective.
Definitely, yeah. You see the Lily playing much better onto the safe here. Joker is getting so much damage in, and just like that, with the amount of distraction, they're able to get Yoshi's Colt onto the safe as well, and they end that game before the Chuck even got the post set up. You see a complete reversal of the script from game number 1. SK walked away with that one quite easily. This is going to be very interesting to see who wins this. It's going to be an absolutely massive advantage for the match in its entirety, going up 2-1 versus going down 1-2. Both of these teams are going to have to lock in and play a little bit better defense onto the respective safe divers.
For sure, and posts are going to be put up by Maru. He's still not going to be able to get his last post just yet, and Joker tries to get some safe damage, gets addressed almost immediately, but they're leaving Yoshi on the safe, and Yoshi's just been able to hammer it. Has taken it down to 66%, which is, I feel, a bit too egregious for Reply Totem.
Yeah, they're not dedicating nearly enough resources to Yoshi. They're getting distracted by Joker on the Lily, and Joker is going to be getting a kill right there too, but they did get a good amount of damage down there with the Colette Super, with the Chuck post being pretty much fully set up now. Looks like Maru is going to be trying to take a little bit of time off to focus on Joker here, but he's going to be going up for the safe. Joker's going to be going for the safe. Maru's barely able to get that kill, and now we're just going to see Yoshi and Ope hammer the safe as we do have to exit real quick. Hopefully we'll be able to get back before these safes are deleted, but probably not realistically. I mean, these safes are taking significant damage here, Panda.
Yeah, and just looking at the scoreline that we have here, it seems like teams are able to take one game from the other. So we're anyway back in the game here, 7-9, very close. It seems like Totem have taken this one, and Maru has been able to cap it off with a chunk.
I would have loved to see what happened there, but both of those safes were under 10% when we get back in. Absolutely crazy stuff. It looks like they were both doing their full dives, but Maru on the Chuck was able to persevere. Absolutely insane stuff. Like I said, would have loved to see what happened there, but I guess we'll never know. We just got to know that Maru is an absolute demon on the train right here, and Totem is going to take a 2-1 lead against the #1 team in BSC standings in EMEA. That is going to be SK with their backs against the wall for the first time that we've seen here.
I haven't seen SK being pressured by many teams, much as Totem in competitive this year, so the fact that Totem are doing this to SK is kind of crazy because we saw how fast SK is with adaptability, right? They took the L in game number 1. They were able to immediately adapt in game number 2, and they won it so dominantly that I thought Totem had no way back in game number 3. So, Totem are back, baby. Totem are back.
So back. Incredibly back. And I cannot wait to see if they're going to be able to close out in set number 4 here, man. We're going to be going into some Brawl Ball triple dribble, which definitely leaves a lot of room for some crazier picks. I've seen Shade come out here, and then obviously we've seen some other crazy picks like the Frank kind of dominate here, but we're going into the draft. And it looks like the Reply Totem is likely going to have the first pick. We see Lumi, Chester, and Lou banned out by SK. Totem banned Spike, Mo, and El Primo. So some crazy bans coming through on Reply Totem. Got to be curious what they're trying to cook here as they go with this Stu first pick.
Indeed, and some of the other brawlers that we tend to see often are maybe the Bee or possibly even the Barley here, as they haven't been banned out. I'm like double checking to see they haven't been banned out, so it could be a possible pick here for both of these teams. Another brawler that can see the light of day on a map like this is Shade. Shade is so good on triple dribble, so wouldn't be surprised to see that being picked up either. Juju's also another phenom on a map like this, and I feel like we've seen Carl so often in this meta in EMEA. I wouldn't be surprised to see either team pick up a Carl either, as we get a Max Jackie. I like this composition. I like what Totem SK are cooking, but Totem have to respond here with some anti-tank.
I like that from SK. I think that they see the Stu and they see that he doesn't have the DPS to be able to deal with a especially speeded up Jackie. So that's the strategy they're going for, especially with Primo out of the picture. That is one of the harder Jackie counters. So we see a little bit of the action coming down there. I thought they might have went for more of a control comp with maybe Carl being picked, maybe Meeple being picked. But it looks like they're going all out for these goals here with the Speedster, with a tank, So I'm curious what type of tank counter Totem's going to pull out here, because they've got to get some more DPS on the field to help that stew out.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they could go for something like a Buster, because Buster is still very much open, but I feel like the pulls from the Jackie don't really matter to I mean, the pulls from Buster don't really matter to Jackie. I got mixed up. I got really confused for a second there. But yeah, the pulls from the Buster don't really matter to the Jackie, because she can still do damage despite that fact. But they still go for the Buster, and they go for the Barley. Like I mentioned, the most picked brawlers here. So not surprised to see that coming here, as SK Gaming has this last pick. But what do you think about the Totem Nucleus?
I don't know, man. I feel like the Buster into the Jackie might not end up working out that well. They might just get ran through. I mean, Buster is a great tank option in and of himself, but he doesn't really go into other tanks the best. And we're going to be seeing SK keep up that aggression with a Kenji. First time seeing Kenji in league play today, so very excited to see what he's going to be able to do. It makes sense into the Barley and the Buster, but I feel like, I don't know. I think I do have my money on SK with the comp here. I think that they could have probably picked something a little bit more aggressive than the Buster to deal with the Jackie. I think that they kind of left that unanswered a little bit.
Yeah, the Kenji coming out is also going to be very interesting, because I think Kenji can roll the entire team if they aren't careful about it. So I don't know about how this one's going to be going. Who do you prefer?
Overall, I think I would definitely... I think I'm going SK with the comp advantage for a little bit. I mean, but you never know with a Barley hypercharge, with a Stew hypercharge. Like, they could definitely get a crazy play going here, but I feel like the aggression is definitely on the side of SK. Totem's going to have to survive an aggressive push and then have a little bit of a counterplay. And, wow. That was fast. It looks like SK is going to be using their aggression to run it straight through the face of Totem and get a first 30-second goal on the board here. Joker's going absolutely insane on the Kenji value. Oh my goodness gracious. And Yoshi's just going to clean that up, and I don't really know if Mari's going to have enough to play defense here.
Yeah, Ope use a phase shifter for some reason there, so I don't think that's going to be a goal scoring opportunity for SK. But they're up. They are up by 1 goal already, so not too much for them here. As Joker goes in, hypercharge being popped by Mori, gets a kill on a Joker, and Mario's going to be going in, but he gets taken out by Yoshi. So good team play from SK to keep the game alive and in the mid. Right now, though, control on the side of Reply Totem, but SK, it doesn't really matter. They have so much of aggression with their composition that positioning isn't really a factor for them.
I don't think SK is going to be losing any sleep over having to respawn a couple more times, especially when Joker can just get back up so quick. Jackie has a speed gadget. They have a max speed. Like, this is just such an aggressive mobile comp. You love to see it. Angel Boy's doing what he can there, trying to get Ope down. Not going to work with Joker's assistance. And now, once again, they're leaving Mori all by his little thrower self. He's having a hard time keeping them back as best as he can, but he's doing what he can. Angel Boy gets a turret up to try and provide a little bit, but like we said, man, it is 1-0 right now. Totem is going to have to find an opening at some point here.
Ooh, Joker getting taken out. That's going to be quite huge, actually, for Reply Totem. Now, Yoshi's going to go try to get the kill onto Mori to remove a little bit of the pressure, but isn't able to nullify it whatsoever. And now Mori can get in on the back lines and be a huge menace. The ball was cornered by SK, which is the SK Classic, I might add, but it's not really going to be bad for them here, as once more we see a lot of aggression coming in. Yoshi pops his hypercharge. He's able to get the pull onto Maru, but they have to redouble on the right hand side. I say that was a really good defensive opportunity and execution coming from Reply Totem. Oh no, it's not gonna matter. Yoshi is able to bamboozle Angel Boy and get the dub there, and SK get game number 1 in set number 4.
It would have been tough for Totem to make a break in that situation anyway. Considering there was only 10 seconds left, no Stew hypercharge, it would have been hard, but well played by Yoshi to put them out of their misery in game number 1 of Brawl Ball. But absolutely insane stuff. Like I was saying in the draft, man, I think it's just a little bit too much aggression from the side of SK. It seems like Jackie and Kenji is just not really getting countered out by the Buster in any way. I feel like they might have just been a little bit too comfortable playing Buster everywhere else and might have just tried to put him into a situation that he's not really going to thrive in.
Yeah, it really seems like they bit off more than they can chew in this scenario. With only 20 seconds elapsing, right now it's a little bit of a stalemate, but Reply Totem have pushed the ball back a little bit. Joker is just going to be aggressing up onto Mori here, not gaining the value that he was looking for. There is a montage coming down by Mori on the right-hand side. Yoshi gets taken out. Ope is going to be finding an answer quite swiftly, but should get answered by Angel Boy himself, who gets a hypercharge and goes in onto Joker, but Joker narrowly survives. A lot of back and forth, and I honestly don't know who's coming out on top here.
This is better positioning than we've seen from Totem in a long time. So, I mean, they might have a chance here with the pull from Maru coming in, and he is be able to secure the goal. Fantastically played to Maru there, man. I did not see that one coming at all. That is absolutely ridiculous that he was able to get a goal there. And you just see Mario's doing so much work with these Barley Supers. He's going to have a ridiculous amount of damage when this game is all said and done. Whether or not it's enough to win, we will remain to find out. But so far, SK is on the back foot in Brawl Ball right here with Ope's Hypercharge ready to go. Hopefully, Yoshi will be able to move up and get them a little bit of space back here. But they're going to only have 1 minute left to be able to tie it up on the board.
This game is crazy. There is no slowing down. It's just going from fast to fast. A lot of nitrous coming in. Huge kills though from Angel Boy on a Yoshi. Joker trying to make some kind of play happen.
Anyway.
He's very low. He manages to get that in. That is absolutely crazy. Wow, SK Gaming able to equalize just 40 seconds to spare.
I thought there was legitimately no chance that Joker was going to be able to slot that in. I thought he just full committed too much to be able to do anything else, but SK is going to get a goal immediately after that. Wow. That was such a quick reversal of the tides there. That was ridiculous. I did not see that one coming at all, but SK is going to bounce back from a crazy goal from Totem and get 2 of their own right onto the board immediately. Absolutely wild stuff. Absolutely wild stuff.
Yeah, and now we're gonna get an official set number 5. This is second time today. I don't even know what to say here. That pick from Joker, the Kenji worked out very, very well. I'm like tripping over my words. Okay, it worked out really well for them. Specifically, I like the way Joker was able to pressure them back so often, so repeatedly, and even if Joker got 0-3 in terms of the stat line, in terms of the kill to death ratio, his job was to push them back. And there were so many opportunities where he was able to capitalize and get goals, which I felt like he shouldn't have gotten in the first place. So very well played from SK Gaming and very well played from Reply Totem as well, considering that I feel like they were outclassed from the get-go in the comp. To make it that interesting was kind of crazy from Totem, but SK Gaming, good response for them to force this as set number 5.
Yeah, realistically, I did kind of think Totem was going to get walked over even a little bit harder than they did. So shout out to them for making it a competitive one, but I just don't think they had anything to do with the aggression of the Kenji Max and the Jackie. Definitely one of the more aggro comps we've seen from SK today. And hopefully we'll be seeing a little bit more aggression here, but likely not as we go into Shooting Star. For our 5th and final set, this is going to be a true test of skill, a true test of aim and jukes as we go in with RT, Ollie, Melody, Angelo, and Gray band, Ollie with a double band. So only 5 bands here. SK picks up the Gene with their first pick. Very sturdy pick, and he's going to have that pull ability. So even if we do see the Blue Star go one way and then not a whole lot of action, we're going to have to keep our eyes on the Gene, see when he gets that super.
Indeed, and we don't have any Gray, so no shenanigans coming out. The Gene is the only one with the pull, so that is something that Totem have to be cognizant of. But honestly, both these teams are supremely even in terms of what I'm seeing here, in terms of the aggression, in terms of the team play and the gameplay. It's just that I feel like it's coming down to a little bit of a draft situation here between these teams, which has been the demarcator between a win or a loss. In terms of what we're looking at here, the Nani is still very much open, as is the Byron. And on your favorite map of the day, we still have the possibility of having your favorite brawler here. But Lumi is...
Oh, we forgot to mention, man.
Every time.
We're slipping up. Lumi manages to make it through. That is crazy to see. Even on a long-range map, she could still hypothetically get countered by just getting outranged by everyone, but she is such a broken brawler. She can leave her Morning Stars on the map and just pop that gadget whenever somebody steps too close. I love the Lumi pick. I'm very curious to see how it works out on one of the longest range maps in the game. Pairing it up with a Carl is interesting to me too. They're going 2 brawlers without that much range. With all of these snipers left on the board, I have to imagine that SK might be grabbing the Piper at least. Probably not the Mandy anymore, but I wouldn't be surprised if Reply Totem is going to get a little bit outranged when it's all said and done here, Panda.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like they should also probably go for something which can slow down the opponents, because you don't want to really face... I feel like the Totem Max are going to be coming out. So you either want to pick the Max for yourself to synergize well with the SK Gaming's Gene pick, which is already on the table. So that might be an option, but they need something longer ranged as well. So I think that Piper does make sense, but I feel like a Max Gene would also make a lot of sense here. And we get the Max and we get you, Mandy.
All right, I'll take it, man. I definitely thought Piper might have been a little bit of a safer pick, but I guess that they want the pop-off potential of the Mandy. Maybe we'll see our first Mandy hyper of League play, but that's going to be a crazy pick. And then Reply Totem is going to go with a Lola. So they have 3 mid-range brawlers. Definitely a little bit crazy to see on Shooting Star. This is a draft that I have never personally seen in any of my ranked games before. So Totem, once again, keeping us on our toes here today, Panda. I can't wait to see who's going to win this game. This should be absolutely amazing.
I felt like Totem would have gone for a Byron maybe just to keep the Carl and Lumi a little bit more healthy and also get incidental long-range shots in, but they decided to double down on, I guess, mid control with the brawlers that they have here. But I think it's going to be hard for them. I feel like Blue Star, though, should go to Reply Totem. I feel like they're going to go with the Flying Hook. In this scenario, I doubt the Heat Ejector is going to get that much of value.
I probably agree with you on that. I think Reply Totem will be definitely going for that Blue Star. And then, honestly, Lumi is a really hard brawler to push into. Once you already have the lead, you can just leave those stars just like Mori is showing us right here. Whenever Ope or Joker walk up too high, he will probably pop that Ice Rink. And there we go. And now they're going to try to capitalize there. SK taking a ton of damage in their spawn. And it looks like Angel Boy is rocking with the fire gadget, actually, which is how we see SK able to walk away with that Blue Star. Looks like they determined that the flying hook just for that first play of the game was not going to be worth it over the utility that you get from the fire gadget throughout the rest of the game. So overall right now, we just see SK holding on to their 1-star lead.
I guess that does make sense if you think about it, because Totem don't have a sniper, right? So there isn't a situation where a sniper is going to hit a person and then Angel Boy can jump in and clean them up. So I guess that it makes sense, the reason as to why they didn't go for the flying hook. Be coming in from SK Gaming here, they do have a lead of a Blue Star, but not really getting all that much by way of possession and control. The Ope has a magic hand, so that's going to make sure that Totem respect the distance.
Definitely. And we also see Maru with a Lola hypercharge online already, which is kind of crazy. One of the harder hypercharges to get, but I guess Maru's just been absolutely nailing these shots so far. He's going to run up full speed here, try to absolutely laser them down here. Not going to get a whole lot of that, though. And we see Joker pop speed. Ope with the magic hand. Is he going to go for Angel Boy here? I do not believe so yet, but definitely something to be watching out for. They're getting pushed back into their spawn pretty hard. Yoshi's also got a Mandy super online if they choose to go for it, but they are super trapped back into their spawn. Barely misses Maru, and now it's going to be... I mean, it looks like they're just going to walk away with this win. I don't even think they're going to really need the magic hand here.
Oh, another super coming in from Yoshi. He's able to get all 3 and finally gets his hypercharge, but you know,
oh my,
that was kind of late.
It is still, we didn't get to see it.
It is still, though, SK Gaming on match point here. Just one more win is going to give them the dub over Totem, but let's see how Totem replies.
That was an absolutely ridiculous super from Yoshi to absolutely clear up the rest of the game there. Leave no questions about it. Would have loved if he got the hypercharge off at the end, but I mean, he did what he had to do there. Joker's going to take a ton of damage getting that Blue Star. I guess that he has it calculated, though, with the magic puffs. He's going to be able to get healed up by Ope and kind of just start chilling here, but looks like SK is going to be playing the exact same strategy that they did in game number 1, and I mean, it worked out pretty well. They were pretty much trapped back into their spawn, but nobody died that entire game, if I'm not mistaken.
That's true, actually. We're going to be in our second game, maybe our final game, basically being used by Joker. Lots of speed as well. Ope not going for any pulls here. I do like how the Morning Stars from the Lumi de-incentivize people from pushing up, because that gadget is going to be online and pull you up if you are not aware of the range here. Ope does still have pull Heat Ejector down. No value for Totem in that scenario.
Nope, nothing yet. It looks like Mori is going to be trying to trap off the Mandy back here, and he goes for the max range pull onto Maru. Not going to connect there, though, so a big waste of utility going out of SK right here. Although they still do have that 1-star Blue Star lead, it looks like Totem might have a little bit of a utility advantage to be able to kind of slime up in here. It looks like Angel Boy's going to have a great angle here, too. Joker should go down to that. And with Yoshi missing the Mandy super, we're going to see Totem take their first lead of this bounty set. It's going to be 2-1 as they retreat.
Yeah, this is a great lead for Reply Totem. Not only did Yoshi miss his super, he completely missed it. So there is no way for him to get it back unless he actually goes in and engages. And I think this is probably the best use case scenario for Lumi because you can't really walk into Lumi unabated here. And there are some shots from Yoshi on the right lane here with a gadget, not able to get his super back. And Mario's just holding the line of sight along with the Angel Boy. They need to be careful, though, in the dying seconds of this match. It's very important that they stay alive. Mori misses his stun, which is going to be very important for them not to do so. Mario able to get the kill on Ope. 2 seconds left. A kill on a Yoshi is confirmed. And now it is double match point between SK and Reply Totem.
When Yoshi let that Mandy super fly, we saw Angel Boy use his Carl super actually to avoid it. That was a crazy use of your utility to get a speed boost to get out of getting the game-winning kill for the other team. So crazy work from Angel Boy to see that one coming. Absolutely love to see those micro plays like that lead to a victory right here. And we are going to game freaking point, Panda. I cannot wait to see who wins this one.
Dude, this is so close and back and forth. This time, in fact, it's Totem who get the blue star. So that's a great start from Yoshi. Tries to use the gadget to catch Maru sleeping, but not able to do so. And right now, Totem have been pushed back all the way to their spawn. Yoshi in a very good position to get all the value he wants. It's a completely open field for him, so it's just going to be a run of the pick, a pick of the litter rather for him. And he misses his super once more, so he's probably going to kick himself a little bit over that one.
Yeah, not really too sure which brawler specifically he was aiming for. Kind of went pretty far away from both of them, but so far it looks like Totem is just going to be trying to hold back their positioning. The Mandy is getting so many good taps in here, though. Maru's going to be very weak. Mori is definitely backtrapped in a corner, and it's going to be Joker versus Angel Boy back in the other corner here. So we're seeing a lot of Totem members hiding in some very suspicious spots right here, with the Mandy shot barely missing Maru for the second or third time this game. Crazy stuff going down here, but SK is making a push up here with the magic hand. Oh, but Yoshi gets the deletion onto the Lumi. So Ope is going to decide to hold on to it for the time being. They're going to retreat with a little bit of extra utility in the pocket.
Yeah, the win condition for SK has been confirmed. We have the speed from, sorry, you have the pull from Ope. Yoshi already has his hypercharge. He just needs to get the super. 38 seconds left. That's more than enough time for them. And now it's actually SK's game to lose here. Reply Totem have to do it now, or it's basically game over for them.
Yeah, we're going to see them pushing them back. Yoshi is pretty hard trapped right here, but Ope also still has that magic hand ready to go if they need to. 20 seconds left is more than enough time for Totem to be able to get away with the kill here, especially with Angel Boy and Mari trapping Yoshi in this bottom right corner so incredibly hard right now. As we go into our last 15 seconds, the gadget hits. The Mandy Hyper does connect, but doesn't get any kills. Is Yoshi going to be able to survive this? He's not. Totem might walk away with this one with the Lola ego distracting right there. Oh my goodness, but Ope kill on Angel Boy. Oh my goodness gracious. SK is somehow going to survive. Ope was so weak right there. I cannot believe he got away with that kill at the end there, Panda. That was incredible focus, incredible luck maybe on the side of SK here to be able to walk away with that. What was I witnessing right there, Panda?
That was highway robbery if I've ever seen it, with a come from behind situation. Reply Totem were ready to be crowned the kings of that matchup, but SK Gaming said, nope, we're going to do it. We're going to get our win, and Ope was able to cap it off with two beautiful shots at the end to deliver them the dub. And I honestly have to say that's heartbreak for Reply Totem. They played so unbelievably well, but the indomitable side of SK Gaming cannot be contained.
That was definitely the best matchup that we've seen in our entire OWN match today, dude. That was absolutely ridiculous. I feel bad for Totem as well, but SK is just too clutch with their back up against the wall, able to walk away with that final win, man. And they're going to join Humble as our only two teams with wins in day 1 and day 2. So shout out to SK and Humble. Those are looking like the big dogs of EMEA right now.
For sure. I mean, they're looking really great. And okay, just looking at the leaderboard right now, how can you explain to anybody that Eclipse are our last place right now? It doesn't make sense whatsoever, right? That's kind of crazy that this is happening here. We have Humble with a 2-0, SK Gaming with a 2-0, Totem with a 1-1. But I have to mention to a lot of people here that Totem is unbelievably back. That was crazy. I'm looking forward to the monthly finals, because all the teams that are participating in monthly finals who have participated in OWN have played out of their minds the last 2 days. And if that is any indication as to how the EMEA monthly finals are going to be going, we have a lot on the plate ready for you guys for this electric showing.
Yeah, the competitive parity across this region is just never fails to amaze me, even with teams like SK and Humble that typically do tend to walk out on top of some of these close games. Like, You still can't say that they didn't give us a scare there. Like, that was absolutely ridiculous. I thought Totem had multiple chances to secure the win there. SK just a little bit more composed at the very, very end of the game, but well played to both of these teams. Really amazing Brawl Stars that we got to see today. And let's just give a little special shout out to Ping Abusers as well, appearing in the top 4 as the main underdog of the tournament. No, none of us expected them to be in the playoff picture as of right now. Obviously, a lot can still happen, but got to give props to the Ping Abusers. They are currently in the playoff picture.
It's crazy how well ping abusers are doing, and I'm actually kind of happy because I am friends with Yannick, and like he's just piloting and captaining the team to some great results here. I gotta say, we've had 4 matches today. We had Ping Abusers Inner Circle, where Ping Abusers swept them. Then we had Eclipsar versus Heretics, which went to 3-1, which Heretics won. Then we got Reverso Humble, which was a 3-2, very, very close games. And then we capped it off with SK Gaming versus Reply Totem. So I have to say today, we've had 4 unbelievable matches back to back to back to back. And you're telling me that we have 5 more match days, 20 complete matches of all of these star-studded rosters again? I don't even know, man. I'm just kind of excited and so hopeful for the future.
It was awesome stuff, man. Brawl Stars fans are eating good, especially EMEA head. So I'm super excited to get into day 3 of games tomorrow, as well as the rest of the rounds. But this has just been amazing Brawl Stars so far, especially today. Didn't see as many sweeps as we did yesterday, which is always great. Can't believe that the only sweep we did see was Ping Abusers over Inner Circle. So once again, man, got to give props to those guys. But overall, man, all 8 teams today played fantastic. Some fantastic Brawl Stars across the board. And I just cannot wait to see where the rest of the OWN is going to take us.
You guys don't understand. After we're done the cast, we're gonna be discussing what we just saw, and it'll just be a lot of fanboying over everything that we saw. It's gonna be crazy. But yes, thank you for watching today. I would like to thank you guys, the viewers, for showing up today, because without you, none of this would be possible. Thank you to the players for participating and showing us what they're made of, the sponsors, Supercell as well, and obviously OWN for putting up such a spectacular tournament. We apologize for any of the issues that we've had today, and hopefully we look to rectify it in the future. Thank you for showing up, and if you guys aren't already aware, my friend here, Duncan, has an amazing Brawl Stars YouTube channel. He has content almost every single day. He does stream a few times a week, so make sure you catch him. It is at Duncan Brawl Stars on YouTube. He also has a Twitch channel as well, so follow him there. And yeah, thank you for showing up, everybody. I really appreciate it. Oh yeah, use code PAN in the shop. I keep forgetting to promo myself.
Definitely, man. Thank you for having me again, Panda. I had an amazing time today, man. Looking forward to getting back into it with you. Appreciate all the love, guys. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for day 3. We're going to keep it rolling, baby. Let's go.